bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants?
fought for these lands. In the shadows and the stories of the promised light. Now they take our place beyond. Up here on the roof of the world. Up here on the roof of the world. Where we are sworn to God no more.
everybody? Welcome into the Cyto Combine. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. You have to bear with me. We've had to make a couple of adjustments here. And things have gotten a little weird. But we are here. We are in game. TDS is my color caster for this one. TDS, it's 1-0, a small gold lead for Team Crimson.
Yep, a small gold lead, a slight advantage, and a pretty uneventful start, because technically it is 1 kill, but it's 10 minutes in, so there's barely been any fighting or anything else happening here. But it's fine. That gives us times at the very least to try and go into the game a little bit more calmly and not have to overthink here, because everyone is just all over the map. Obviously, we haven't had the most opportunity to really see what they were going for, but pretty standard compositions. I was expecting more randomness. Oh,
Okay, well, it's only on Tub. They weren't able to go after Shogo. Shogo flashless now.
Yep.
Interesting to note that he does have Ghost, so any root from mobility, any charm from Protoss, going to be difficult for him to get out of, but obviously very good against that Rumble and this Trundle. We do see that Toasty Alex is looking to get in position. He does have Shockwave available for these targets. He can put the ball on Protoss.
Ooh,
Protoss in
great
between
ulti.
two. Don't have an opportunity for that Shockwave. Will land on the Shogo. And they will be able to pick up the kill and get out. It wasn't super clean, but it was good enough. As Tub
Oh, wait.
is now going after our Trundle here. That's Munchie trying to get out. He'll have to flash away from the public execution of Calculus.
Great flash there by the Trundle to be able to escape really comfortably in that position. The pillar also was greatly positioned to deny the entrance or the ability to go in by Shimmer. Now, after that kill, because of all commitments that happened there, Crimson has complete openings here to be able to push into the turret, get a little bit of free gold, get a little bit of a space. But the important part is really how the play kind of happened, right? Because you have Protoss initially taking away that flash from Shogo, being forced under turret, and then with the Orianna, even though it was a little bit scuffed because the Shogo was able to ulti out of the initial engage from the Rakan, it didn't really matter. You have the damage, you have the extra control by the Shockwave, and then the remaining members were also in a better position to go in. Oh, Toasty, probably dead here.
Really like this play, even just for a Scylla to get a little bit closer. The shutdown's going to go over to Shimmer, and with this Dragon up, that should open the door for Team B, be able to secure this one and split the difference between drags.
Yeah, and I'm kind of glad the Shimmer actually got that kill. I don't think there's much advantage you can get if Xyla does get it. The only difference really is items. But I think having Shimmer with that early kill here at this point in the game probably will benefit them more. The Dragon, though, contesting for 1-on-1 in terms of the Dragon value that you're able to get there. And now it's going to be on what plays can the side of Shogo's team try and look for, right? Because if you're not able to really find the avenues to make the Skies shine, to make the Xinjiao have a lot more value, later on it's just going to be much, much worse for them. And Mobility probably will have a better time with the more items they get.
And of course, with that ultimate you have on the Xayah to be able to escape any danger, you will find yourself in a fine spot for sure. Still have a little while before the next objective is up. We're going to have Herald at the 15-minute mark. It's 2.5 minutes away. We've got a couple of the buffs spawning as I'll get once again forgive the jerry-rigged setup here, where the timers are not really in the proper spot. We'll hold that thought for a second as Protoss takes the trade and walks out. Want to give a big shout out to Shogo for being on my friends list, because without that, this game would not have been streamed. Thank you, Shogo.
Yeah, important that Shogo is able to give us the feed here to be able to
make
watch
friends with your
everything.
casters.
Yeah, that can save casts really effectively, and it worked out here as Mobility is also effectively taking down this first turret gold and taking a lot of value here for the Xayah, making him the main carry, obviously, not only just by playing the champion, but also by gaining all this gold advantage. And I do want to focus a little bit on that bot lane matchup, because obviously supports are important here, but this pretty consistent, everlasting rivalry, I would call, from the collegiate scene, from Mobility and Shogo, consistently playing between each other, and more times than less, we see them kind of taking the head-to-head between each other. So it's great seeing them here and being able to just keep on butting heads and seeing who can come out on top as, oh, Shogo.
Oh no, we got caught with the Shockwave. Toasty is very tanky because he's got that Rod of Ages. Shogo dropped his ultimate down for a little bit of shielding. Toasty, though, will not come out on top in the 1v1. Shogo getting it done.
Turns out having the ultimate shield by the Kai'Sa is enough to be able to deny all damage from the Orianna. And yes, he may be tanky, but he is lacking damage with this build. He's going to take a little bit more before he's actually able to burst out targets. And I do think that's kind of the difficult type of things that happen with the Orianna whenever you go for this sort of build as Shimmer. fighting once again here against the Trundle, though.
Oh, that
Ooh.
equalizer was good. It forced the flash out of Shimmer, but did not land with the proper angle. And now here comes Protoss from the backside on the
One
long
head.
flank, gets knocked away, but they're on top of Shimmer, and they're able to find him. Here comes Asila, actually cutting off Shogo and the rest of his team. As it looks like this turret is now under siege, Mobility taking a lot of damage, forced to drop his ultimate down. He's going to have the root on the backside. Tub is showing up, and a teleport on the backside. Toasty Alex is right
Toasty.
there, but he gets knocked up, exhausted, and blown up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the sort of
Oh,
teleport
another
angle. Oh, wait.
Here's the knockup on the
Ulti.
Mobility. Mobility doesn't have that protection. Protoss is an auto away from
Woo.
dying. Meanwhile, Calculus trying to chase down Munchie. Munchie doesn't have a whole lot of places to go. The Drake count step means that every cast,
Movement speed.
Calculus can chase down, but he got slowed up just enough for Munchie to walk away.
Just enough to be able to escape there, and this is a much less amount of casualties that it probably should have been. Because Toasty died, yes, but there should have been a couple more kills on both sides here. Really good fight though by the red side, being able to respond accordingly in that manner. Toasty maybe a little bit tankier or a little bit more survivable with the amount of health he gets, but he's still an arena. If you get collapsed on by 4 members, you're going to die 100% of the time. And then the response as well to try and follow up onto most of the other members was really good coming in by the rest of the team. Really unlucky that they are not able to get the Protoss kill. Oh, Shimmer.
Okay, Shimmer in a 2v1 right now. Even if he's not able to walk away, this is still a
Slow.
very positive play. Well, the wind becomes light, and with the audacious charge means that he is able to walk out, but he
Oh,
stepped
he went back though.
He stepped back, and Protoss decided to go in on him. Hook doesn't land from Tub, but Shimmer will be able to survive regardless. And, you know, it's just a difference of plays and what happens. Shimmer survives that, but on the other side, you know, Toasty Alex has made some aggressive plays and has not been the one to survive. Now he's up top taking that turret. So we're going to see Shelly come through, get a charge off. This should do good damage to the turret, if not kill
Ooh.
it. And it will. Mobility is
Ooh.
forced to flash away because his ultimate wasn't up. So this is really good stuff here coming out of Team B. They've gotten really aggressive early, TDS.
Yeah, they really are. Oh, Shogo though.
Double charm
Great
equalizer on
equalizer.
top, but great ultimate by Shogo to get out. Meanwhile, Munchie's in trouble in a 2v1,
Munchie.
making a 3v1 as he goes down. Tub is able to walk out too, as Team B is killing the game right now, and Calculus looking to kill Mobility, but he had that Feather Storm to be able to escape. Meanwhile, Toasty Alex is just doing his thing on the sideline.
Oh. Yeah, he's just staying up there for a little bit too long, and now he's getting caught up. He
Scylla?
still does that flash.
Yeah, Scylla
Oh,
doesn't
fine.
have quite the damage that
Oh,
Shogo
wait.
does, but here's a shockwave down, and Toasty Alex gets that kill, but here's Shogo and Shimmer to pick it right back up. That one will go over to Shimmer. He'll take it for himself. Meanwhile, Crimson and Calculus going at it. The overheat, good damage onto Calculus, but again, that Drake count step means it's pretty easy for him to get out.
Remember how I said that this was an uneventful game for when we
And it
got
all
in?
of a sudden became eventful,
Yeah.
yes.
I'm really glad that they waited for us to get into the game, so they finally started like fighting. It clearly was
They
just
knew.
a sign that they were waiting for us. Exactly.
I know only 35s in the chat. He probably gave Mobility the DM like, yo, they're live now. You guys can start going. Mobility probably told his team. Coach probably said to the other team, okay, you guys can hit the gas pedal. No, we're not that important here because, obviously streams are nice and being able to shout out the player stories is great, but a combine like this, TDS, you got to remember, is
Yeah.
all for the players, right? I mean, last year's combine was immensely successful. It featured players like Zamudo, Dark Wings, and Scary Jerry. All of these guys were a part of Tier 1 play in 2025. I'm excited to see if any of these players from this year's combine are going to be a part of Tier 1 play going into 2026. We have Tub taken out here by the rest of the squad. Proto's going to be able to just
Ooh.
barely survive, taking a page out of CFO's book, who he is repping with his icon.
Hey, respectable, and so far working out for him. 2 instances now where he survives really, really closely there, but still able to set up the plays, gaining another kill. It's interesting though, because even though the setup for the kills has been really good, Mobility has yet to get one. And I think that's the surprising part with how active they've been and also how close they've been to trying and play around Mobility and Protoss. It's weird that Mobility is not the one that gets those kills, but still you can see how impactful he is, right? Because it's not only getting those kills or getting gold or getting farm, it's the fact that he's impactful in the map, trying to move around and provide for the team even if it's not kills. Oh,
Public execution plus Shogo flying in over the top rope means that Calculus is going to find a kill. Meanwhile, Tub is cut off
Again.
here. Protoss is trying to stay in front of him, and he does. That means that Tub can't escape, and Mobility gets his first. So Silo drops down the Weaver's Wall just to clear out that mid wave to try to relieve whatever pressure he can.
Canopy is still available, probably not going to matter that much because it's one turret shot away, but a really good couple of picks that they are able to get on both sides. I think particularly once again bringing it up, the fact that both AD carries get a kill is really, really important, and they also want to highlight both of them moving around, because typically AD carries are kind of with the mindset of trying to stay in one place and trying to get gold or get ahead in other manners. They are actively trying to play for the team and with the team, and I really like this sort of things coming from both AD carries, that they are trying to be as impactful as possible with the rest of the team in the rest of the map. Now, we need to see who is going to be much more impactful eventually, but at this point, it's a really fun competition already setting up.
Yeah, and everybody I think is pretty confident that Kaisa has more carry potential than the Zaya, but the Zaya has better protections. Now, it is pretty interesting because for Shogo here, all he really needs to watch out for is Protoss and a Shockwave. Everybody else is going to run at him, and he's going to have the ability to kite back with that Ghost. Meanwhile, people are going to be up Mobility's butt this game, man, with the public execution, with the depth charge and everything like that. So his ultimate in the back pocket, going to be able to use that, and as long as he positions well, he should be fine. Moving forward, Protoss being forced out here. We're seeing a teleport come through over the top side. Hook goes down right now.
Toasty's not
Here
here.
we go. Knock up looking for Protoss. They finds him. Calculus is on the back
Ooh.
line right now. He'll step out as he waits for some energy. Is Toasty Alex again a risky teleport? Shimmer able to get
Shimmer
away, but
gets
he's
caught.
charmed up for right now. Shogo is completely untouched for the moment as he's fighting front to back.
Oh, the
A
shockwave!
big three-man shockwave to try to turn it around, but Shogo is gonna find the angle. Oh, what a seismic shove! And
Ooh.
Calculus rips the back line.
No way.
Huge play by Asila. That is an ace for Team B.
Both teams were trying to one-up each other, but at the end, it's Team B, Asila with a three-man pull away to be able to get all the damage down for the Kaiser to collapse there. It really could have worked out for either side. It's just a couple of damage abilities going wide that really made the difference there. I think also importantly, Toasty getting picked off like that, because with the way that the fight started, if he's left in touch near Mobility, that fight probably goes really different. But because he was trying to run away, escape, setting himself up, it just led the opportunity for a red team to really position themselves much better, and then Shogo finding the angle onto the back line, three-man pullback from Asila, and then the remaining members also going in. It really was a contested fight. It could have gone either way.
And I really love Asila in that fight. This is a guy that we've seen play Talia on a couple of occasions, TDS, and has generally left a lot to be desired on that champion. But that, I think, is the first time I've seen him play that champion and say he took over a fight. Because you saw on the, Shogo get very, very low when Mobility called those feathers back again. Knife's edge type of fight, but that seismic
Yep.
shove really sealed the deal for his team, and now it's up to them to continue to push it forward. They've taken the Otacon. They are up only about 1,300 gold, but you start taking a look at the levels. Toasty Alex got his free level off the Rod of Ages. Asila is the same level as him. Shogo's up a level. Tub is up a level. Calculus is up a level. Shimmer's up too.
Yeah, the difference for the potential dragon fights are going to be really important. And also right now, we're reaching the point where this is probably one of the strongest points in the game for red team's composition. You have two items on pretty much each member, Shogo being able to freely auto-attack, and also the control of the map that they are able to get thanks to the fight that they just won, gives them enough edge to get this dragon out. It is two dragons apiece, but it's good that they are able to get this control. Toasty gets hit here. I was thinking Shogo may have gone there, but really smart to try and respect it. Oh,
Okay,
Flash
Shockwave
out.
didn't quite land. Asila right in the face of everybody.
Really good
He
there.
doesn't care. Protoss is
Again.
dead, and now we're looking for Munchie. Munchie getting a bit of a shield.
Wait,
Crimson on the
Tub?
backside, trying to kill Tub, but the knockup is there.
Tub is alive.
Tub is still alive. The shielding, he'll go down, but it's a 1-for-1 in the end. But Shogo gets another kill on the backside, and now he's
Oh,
looking for
add one
Toasty
more.
Alex. Toasty trying to go around and round. He gets on the other side of the blast plant, but the problem is he's between a rock and a hard place, and those rocks are getting flung. Calculus cleans that one up.
Yeah, that was just waiting to see who it gets to execute you there, Toasty. Really unlucky, but the fight, it's all set up perfectly for the side of the red team, trying to pull them away into a really weird spot. I think the shockwave is not necessarily a bad idea. The problem is that if you go for it and it goes wide, then the remaining attack from the red side can be stronger. And you see just how quickly they are to react. Really nice to see coming in from the red side, how quickly they just decide to go in for the fight, and everyone is ready to go win virtue of their comp they're playing, but also the quick reactions by the members to just go in on the moment that they can and try and get the win. And before it was a little bit more closer between both of them, but now it feels like Shogo is just getting a little bit farther ahead thanks to those skills that he's getting, and now a third item to boot onto the Kaisa.
Yeah, and on the other side, Toasty Alex has struggled a little bit this game. Started out 2-0, since then 1-6-3. Has been over aggressive on a lot of plays. The wayward teleports we've talked about. He had a nice shockwave in that the prior fight near the dragon, but
Yeah,
the shockwave in this fight went wide, did not land. You really need that. The rest of your team does provide enough damage. You don't need to over index, right? You don't need to go and squeeze
exactly.
out every little bit of damage. You can trust the rest of your team to do it, but maybe not anymore.
Oh, kind of a close pull there by Protoss, but yeah, it's a point of the game where you can find those specific situations for a team fight to try and win it out. But now it feels like there's a better advantage for the red side, and as long as they are able to get on top of some of the members, it should work out for them much better. We need to remember though, it is Asaya. As soon as she hits 3 items, she's going to be hitting even stronger. Same for the Oriana. More items she gets, one shockwave wins you the game. And those are the small things that you really have to take into account whenever these late game fights come through, especially now with Baron buff.
No doubt. And you take a look at the itemization over on the side of Team 2. They definitely don't have a lot of magic resistance, right? You are looking at Shimmer and Asila and Shogo. And these are targets that if you catch with a shockwave, it's going to do big damage to, regardless of the fact that Toasty's got this more defensive Oriana build. So even here on 2 items, if you happen to catch those guys, it's going to be really impactful. Now, the issue is there's flashes on all of those guys, right? So
Yep.
maybe an opportunity to potentially burn them before the next objective fight. Remember, this Baron's been up for about a minute, and with Team 2 having a lot of control, they can start it whenever, and you're starting to see pings going down.
Yeah, they have a great team to try and rush it out. You have the Kaisa and the Xin Zhao,
This is on a word.
also the single target damage. It may be on a word, but I think they have enough speed to be able to try and take it down. There's also the protection from top here, and then also Calculus does have teleport, and it looks like they want to try and rush it. Although it's perfect setup for a
All
fight like
right.
that.
Good stuff there by Asila. Now he's going to use
Oh, the
Weaver's
wall?
Wall, cutting off Munchie,
Yeah, he
which
just
means the
died.
Baron's secured. Here we go. Here comes the fight. Shockwave lands
Human
on the
shockwave.
2. It's big damage. Here's the ultimate from Calculus.
Look
Shogo
at
gets to the
Shogo.
back line as well, but Calculus goes too deep
Calculus just
and
died.
can't close it out. 4v2.
Mobility.
Asila off on the side, sequestered out, and he's dead. Shogo, the only man left alive. And guess what? Munchie, the monster,
He does have
is
flash,
ready
though.
to munch. Shogo flashes over the wall and escapes, the only man on Team B with Baron left standing.
It looked like such a good play to try and get the Baron buff and then follow up into the fight, but great two-man shockwave coming in off of the follow-up from Protoss, and the follow-up from the rest of the team is really, really good. It's fights like this that are decided by really small margins, and I think both teams are trying to play it as best as possible and finding really good angles. But this is also something we mentioned, right? The shockwave. One good shockwave wins you the game, and that's exactly what they are able to find in that position. Plus taking down some of the Baron buffs, really important to try and keep the hopes or the expectations from the blue team alive, and also shutdowns going to mobility as well.
And this means that Calculus and Asila aren't going to get as much value on these
Yep.
side lanes. Next Dragon's up in about 15 seconds, and Team A has total control of the river right now, looking to put themselves on soul point, TDS.
Yeah, trying to get the control of the game through this dragon, trying to also get the control of the game maybe through a team fight in this position, but whole river completely controlled by the side of the blue team. They are trying to maybe find an angle, but I feel like you can kind of abandon this dragon and much better look for something else in the map. He
Here's that
died
Weaver's
immediately.
Wall. Okay, look who's stuck. It's Munchie, but they can't actually get to him. It's tough to get in there. Shimmer taking a
Look at the
little bit of
pillar,
damage
though.
too. And now they're going to try to turn on to Shimmer. Shogo and Asila aren't there. Shockwave
Oh,
on
the
Shimmer,
damage.
and the shield is up. Shimmer's got to go in. Good
Shimmer's
equalizer.
still
Tub to
alive.
split off Shogo and Asila, and they're going to be able to find the first kill. Now they're going to look for Tub too. It's a
Good
double
job.
kill for Toasty Alex, and now the chase is on for Calculus.
want
The
more.
speed ups are there. The pillar is there. They have plenty of damage too, as Calculus can only try to clear the wave. It's a third kill coming through, and Team A's turned the game around.
There were a few instances where it didn't really matter that much, but we're now seeing kind of the power from the pillar in most of the situations of the game. And I really like how Munchie's playing around that. Like, typically, you wouldn't think much about that ability. It's just a big pillar that comes off of the ground and you just watch it sometimes. But when used right, you can just slow too many members that are reliant on trying to move around. The positioning also affects how you want to try and play around with it. I think Munchie has done a really good job at denying the position from the members so that the pillar gets in between the enemy team and one of the remaining members, and they are just left without really accomplishing much. And the follow up there from the rest of the team also really, really good. Plus, the fact that the dragon died immediately meant that there was not really anything to fight for the red team unless they committed way earlier. But because they were flip flopping a little bit too much, it gave room for the blue team to finally find the angle to commit to the fight.
There's another scenario where a Silo Weaver's Wall gets little to no value.
Yep.
You know, we had that great seismic shove earlier, but again, this is a champion that he has struggled on a little bit. And you know, this is and it's okay, right? This is a combine specifically
Exactly.
for players to get better and show their skills and get coaching, right? Regardless if you play well individually in the game or maybe not as well. You know, they don't just look for who played well and who played poorly this game. They look for who's coachable, right? They look for
Exactly.
many other things under the sun that you and I aren't privy to. So even though he's struggling a little bit with these Weaver's walls, that doesn't mean, you know, anything when regards to the combine itself. You know, we're only streaming these for the entertainment value and to tell the player stories and to tell you that Asila struggled on this champion, but when he goes and he gets in these fights and he lands these seismic shoves and he turns the fights, that's growth. That's the growth we're looking for.
Exactly. It's the small things that keep on improving on. And in the way that the game has been going, I don't think there's really anything that it's merit on mistakes happening too much, but more so I think it's on the right read on certain plays and the difference between them working out or not is really just a small margin. So it's really a good show that the players, even in these tight situations, are finding like good angles for each other to really try and win the fights or win the game through those fights. But now the control is on the side of the blue team, and it feels like they have a lot of the tools now to be able to try and force a little bit more. Gold Lead may not show it, but you're at a point where you have 4 items on the Saya, 3.5 or 3 and something items on the Oriana, 2 items completed in multiple members as well, and the position of the map just feels that it's a little bit better for them. Oh wait, Sayla?
Another nice seismic shove there. Big damage coming down onto Munchie. That's a large chunk. Just a minute before this Baron. Now he is going to be able to heal up just a little bit. Here comes the Weaver's Walls. Asila is going to take it. Good stun onto Protoss. Protoss is forced to flash over the wall. That's a good quality Weaver's Wall.
Yeah, and I really like the aggressiveness that he's looking into it. It's not like waiting to see what the team decides to go. He takes it and tries and makes the play
Shimmer's in
happen
trouble.
while it's going in. Ooh, close there.
Oh, so is
Wait,
Asila
Asila
now because guess what? Shimmer's not around. Asila got
didn't
engaged
flash
on.
away.
He still has his flash. He's going to hold it in the back pocket and go down with the ship. A large pick just 40 seconds before the Baron spawns.
So he is responding in 50 seconds. So as long as they can wait for 10 seconds and they don't lose the Baron immediately, they can have Asila back for that potential fight. The problem is that will the side of blue team just opt into the Baron buff? I think they just commit to try and take down a couple of the structures because tier 2s are still live on each lane, bar mid lane now.
Yeah, and you know, they really could go for the Baron if they wanted TDS because you can use Crimson's ultimate either as extra damage or as a deterrent in
Yeah.
a potential 5v4. I like what they're doing here. They're doing a Bush Cheese. Toasty Alex looking to move up. There's that
Toasty.
equalizer to slow up Shogo's. Toasty Alex unable to get close, so they don't actually get anything out of Team B here, but they're going to head back to the Baron. Asila up in 5 with teleport.
That was a good amount of commitment there, but now no Crimson ultimate. So if they want to
Oh, that's a
fight
good
here, it's
word.
going to be without equalizer.
Okay.
Oh,
Here we go. Tubbs
Pillar
is the first
down.
one to get engaged on. Shogo was cut off to the side. Knockup is there. Tubbs forced to flash. He's going to hook back
Oh, they
in.
burst him.
Looking for Crimson. There's the redemption. It's going to go down and do quite a bit of healing. Now, once again, it's a 5v4. Toasty Alex still with Shockwave.
Yeah, and no teleport here on top, although he does have the Unsealed Spellbook. Maybe he does have it in his rotation, but it feels like maybe they are going to trade. They know that a 5v4 here can be really difficult to fight it out, so they are going to
It
trade
could be game ending.
a Chemtech Soul for Baron for a buff here. Probably not a bad choice, especially because it
Not at
does
all.
give you a little bit of room to try and fight it out. And then it's trying to wait to see with top if they can fight it out. It's 10 seconds now, and everyone is collapsing onto top lane from the side of the blue team.
Yeah, you're getting this temporary power and you're, you know, giving up one chance at permanent power, but if you do what you're supposed to do with this Baron to get ahead, you can get it done. I love this play onto Crimson here in the mid lane. Really well done. Crimson will clear out the wave critically, so there's nothing more that Team B can get.
Yeah, exactly. Finding this here perfectly fine, I would argue for the side of the red team, particularly also because they were going to lose this top lane turret anyway. So getting to get a Baron buff off of the map here, really ideal. And it also means that now once again you have an instance where you have numbers advantage. You can maybe try and look aggressively for another fight or another pick on the side lane. You have Kai'Sa ultimate, or actually not Kai'Sa ultimate anymore, but you have some of the other ultimates to try and follow up on it, and then the flash also from Shimmer and top to try and follow up on a play on the side lane. But it looks like they're going to try and defend the bot side.
And keep in mind, that's another scenario where your side laner does not have Baron, so the push isn't going to be as potent, right? You're only really going to be able to push on 2 lanes heavily. Mobility is doing it all himself down here. We're going to see teleport coming out from Tub, as he did Summoner Spellbook it. So critically, he will not have that the next time the Baron is up, just in case anything fishy happens. Team A has total control of the Team B bot side jungle. Crimson is not around, but he does have teleport as the siege is on TDS.
Yeah, they're trying to push here their advantage. They have the really strong push here. Also, just following up on it, mobility with 5 items. He really hits really hard at this point. So it's waiting on to the next wave of minions here. And the push getting a little bit slow. It is going to be able to take down the tier 2 turret, but the fact that it's not getting onto the base, I think really ideal for the side of the red team. And if they can find a fight here, that could really turn around a lot of the situations. But the poke is also not connecting from Shogo.
Yep, this is very good stuff. Bear with me. I'm just going to check on how much Baron time we have left. Okay, so Baron's got 1/4 of its duration left. So everybody going to take their recalls, get their Baron empowered recalls, and that's going to be it for the Baron push. So they were able to take 2 turrets out of it, but not a whole lot more. They've given themselves about a 3,500 gold cushion here. Couple things to note here over on the side of Team 2. Double Rabadon's completed. Shogo is full build right now. Taking a look at mobility, he is too. So these 80 carries at the peak of their powers.
Yeah, actually, Shimmer starting a little bit of a scuffle
Weaver's
here.
Wall.
And
It
Syla,
cuts off Toasty, Alex. I like this attempt here. 2
Photos.
charms out. Here comes Tub and Shogo. Hook doesn't
Photos is
land on
dead.
anybody. They managed to find a kill.
Oh,
But look,
Syla.
Tub is going to get blown up. Nobody else is around. They found a Syla. They found Tub, and now it's a 3v3 because mobility went to the mid lane. Shimmer is going to have to stand and fight. Calculus and
no,
Shogo
Shimmer.
are going to run away. Guardian Angel procced and popped, and so is Shimmer.
And that's the worst part. Losing the Guardian Angel in this situation where you're trying to force a play, it's going to leave so much for Shimmer to be able to do later on. Like, he's going to die immediately the next time that he tries to engage in a fight. But the idea is not bad. I think trying to get Protoss early is not a bad choice. The main thing, though, is that Syla died really quickly. Like, he was actually killed really quick in that position, and they didn't find an angle to then follow up on Protoss' death. Like, they couldn't find another angle to keep on the fight going for red side, and instead blue team coming in really comfortably, mobility coming in left and touch, was able to get so much damage down in that fight.
Yeah, I think Team A is doing a really good job of sticking together, right? Because a play like
Yeah.
that, I love the attempt at the quick play. They did a good job. They killed Protoss relatively quickly. Shogo wasn't really in range for a while, and if he was a little closer, that play could have been made cleanly. But the
Yeah.
rest of Team A just descended on that play very quickly. A Tub did not initially landing a hook onto anybody makes it a little bit difficult, as now
And
he
another one.
finds himself in trouble once again. This is just kind of what happens on Nautilus sometimes.
Yeah, you tend to suffer from not being able to escape really comfortably in most of those situations. And again, in this side corridors, side spaces, that
Weaver's
pillar is
Wall.
going to be big. Oh, mobility.
Protoss and mobility completely cut
Not
off.
enough
Toasty
follow.
Alex, though, and Munchie are able to get through after the falls. Toasty Alex, I thought there was an opportunity. There might be one here. Here comes the shockwave. It
Oh,
lands on the
right,
two.
shockwave.
Syla chunked out. Shield going to be used. There's that equalizer on top of him. He's burning.
burn.
He's burning. He's low. He's dead.
He's
They take
dead.
him out, and it's Shimmer off to the side. Tub,
Oh, Tub
a
is dead as
wayward
well.
hook, and he falls too. That should do it, TDS, as they're looking for more. Shogo desperately trying to kite backward, but he's low, he's burning,
Hey.
and he's dead too. Calculus has nowhere to go, and all Shimmer can do is hit the recall button. The turret has fallen. The inhibitor is down. Not a whole lot of minions, but a whole lot of health bar over on the side of Team A. And Shimmer has determined, I cannot stop this. And the winners of game 1 of this Scrim Center, Team A.
Yeah, there's not a lot that the Xinjiao can do by himself at that point at the end, but still finding the value of that pick immediately, and it's really off of the fact that they get that quick kill into then following up on the rest of the fight, and it's good ultimate positioning as well. I think that equalizer at the end by the Rumble, really well positioned, forcing the team to run away, but still having to take a really weird path, and it gives time for the blue team to be able to collapse and be able to kill the remaining members. So really nice setup, really nice kills, a little bit helped by the amount of gold that they already had, but it's the good plays at the end that really matter.
Yeah, and you know, when we hopped into the game, TDS, it looked like it was going to tilt toward Team A, and then we saw Team B bring it all the way back, but then a couple of really nice plays coming out from Team A resulted in their victory. We're going to go ahead and cut it to a break while we try to fix up all the technical issues that we dealt with, and hopefully we won't have any more for the rest of the night. Fingers crossed. We will see you on the other side real soon. back, everybody, to the 2025 Sido Path2Pro Combine. So we're in the second block, second game of this three-block scrim. It is fearless. There are no other special rules attached. If some may recall last year, during certain um, times of play, there were certain restrictions imposed, but this one is just nothing more than fearless TDS. So we're getting into the picks and the bans.
Well, some would argue fearless is enough of a restriction to try and play some things,
True.
but
Fearless was not
I
a thing this time last year, so
I would have loved to see fearless with restrictions just because we probably would have dived deeper into the pools. The reality though is that probably if we dived way deeper into the pools, probably we would have seen not enough champions played to a level that we're expecting that can impact also on other kinds of understanding from the players. That being said, it's still enough to be able to show really good things. I'm excited to see what they try and bring out for this second game. I think the first one really aimed down onto what the junglers try and do early on, and also what sort of like play they try and pull off towards their bot lanes. Because I feel like the more they fed their bot lanes, the stronger their game plan kind of felt.
yep, I'm with you on that. And these are players on both sides, Team A and Team B, who we talked about it, have done their fair share of battles, not only in NACL but also collegiate. And these are
Yep.
two very strong carry-oriented players. And one of them has to win and one of them has to lose. But again, it's just a combine. Wins and losses do not necessarily matter. They look at a whole holistic group of things before they look at wins and losses or performance in an individual game. Rise is going to be our first pick here for Team Two. That will be going over to I believe Team Two would be Asila, because we have Team A and Team B. So I'm gonna just assume that's gonna go over there. Maybe it's up to Calculus in the top lane. Who knows, TDS?
What if they actually are peeking the enemy team comms and we just simply don't know it?
Dude, I mean, honestly, it could happen. I actually have no idea.
Yeah, that's a possibility we don't actually know. But in reality, Rice as first pick, I don't find a problem with that. I'm surprised because one of the things or one of the picks that we've recently seen like kind of go against the Rice much more frequently has been the Cassiopeia. It feels like it gets picked quite frequently into the Rice, works out really nicely because of the short range and also because of the petrifying gaze being able to deny him. But then also here in this comp, having already a Junara, I think the way with the control that he provides and the poke can be a bit difficult to try and deal with in a lot of situations. The other side, though, with no Kai'Sa this game, what do you go or what do you take into this Yunara? Ezreal could be an option.
You are right. Ezreal could be a viable option. Let's see what else we got. You could go with something a little bit more aggressive or late game slanted, and that's going to be a Felio. So we've got a lot of scaling here on Team Two and a decent amount on Team One.
Yeah, and they probably try and take away one of the picks for the Yunara here. Something like the Lulu to try and buff up their Yunara could be an option. Milio still exist, but not get played a lot, so probably not the choice. But something like the Lulu could end up coming here as the Nafiri instead getting covered and picked. So a lot of aggressiveness coming in from the jungle this time around. I really like the Nafiri Ryze duo because Ryze just sets you up with a point and click CC, and then you pretty much get a full Nafiri combo down without really having to do much. That's one of the better setups that you can go for. And then also Realm Warp can allow you to get into places without having to commit your ultimate and then save it for maybe later as well, as the bar does come through here.
Yeah, I like this Nefiri pick because a lot of the lockdown is gone. Nautilus has been fearless away. Vi
Yep.
got banned. Now the Bard pick sort of fills the same role. Now it is a skill shot as opposed to point and click, but if you are
Yep.
throwing your Bard ultimate, this Tempered Fate, onto the Nefiri, and they're going to get caught by it, it's going to force them to use their W and that invulnerability so you can follow up afterward. Now, what I'm looking for out of Team One is some commitment coming out of the jungle and or the top side. We need some engage coming through, and that's what I'm expecting Team Two to ban.
Yeah, Jarvan is still available, so could be one of those things that they try and take away. There's
Trapaphilios.
Yep, that can be a choice that could go through, and if they don't ban away, could be really scary for the side of Team 1 to just pick it immediately. As the Yuri comes through here, really interesting ban they go for here in the top lane. They did ban the Sion as well here, and they have Fearless away both the Rumble and the Ambessa. So things like the Camille can kind of rise up a little bit in priority as well, but the Yorick makes a lot of sense in terms of the bans. And as for, I think Team 1 should also try and go for some supports like this Lulu since they already have the Bard. Makes a lot of sense to take it away for the Philios.
Let's see what this last ban is going to be from the side of Team Two. I'm in lockstep with you. I think it needs to be a Jarvan because, yep, there it is. Yeah, it's just that the ability to get
Yeah.
right on top of the Aphelios. Now, what are we going to see come out of the jungle here that has that same sort of ability? I mean, you might have the point and click out of the Pantheon if you want. Looks like Jax is going to come through maintaining a flex. Jax often, a jungle into Zin, but there are some other matchups where you could take him there.
It does leave the opportunity here for maybe a little bit of a potential target pick here coming in from Team One in terms of the jungle or even the top lane. But as blinds here, because you don't know if this Jax is going to go top lane or jungle 100%. As far as options to try and go for, we could end up seeing the Gnar. Gnar is one of those like safe picks that you opt into quite frequently just because of how much utility it ends up giving you, and a lot of the players do feel comfortable with it. The Leona does give you a good amount of engage already, but it is dependent now on that the Aphelios can kind of save himself or be by himself without much problem, and then being able to provide a lot of the damage without having to depend on the Enchanter support buffing him up. And the Gragas here, pretty quintessential like pick towards the Jax. Really good way to try and cancel his engage. Great disengage tool as well as great engage tool. But it does give you the opportunity here to try and flex it out and actually take a good matchup into this Gragas.
All right, let's see what the move is here. Gragas, as we know, the great neutralizer, so it could just be an opportunity to farm up a little bit and scale if you want it. Aatrox is a fine enough option to give him the solid enough laning phase. We'll see if Team One wants to go ahead and lock that one in, and it looks like they will. So they will send Jax into the jungle against this Nefiri. I think it is a solid enough choice to put into Nefiri. It does do and accomplish a lot of the same things. If Nefiri goes in, Jax is like, okay, I'm gonna stun you unless you go invulnerable.
Yeah, they have the tools to try and make it work out really comfortably as long as there's no invulnerability in between. That being said, there's a good opportunity here that we may see a little bit more action coming in from the Nefiri early on than the Jax, because Jax jungle is not typically one of the most active junglers. I would argue Nefiri isn't necessarily either, but I would think Nefiri has a lot more opportunities to try and look into it. And then in terms of the lanes that you can try and go for, I think Nefiri can really effectively go mid lane and then also try and go bot lane because of the engage from the Leona sets you up really nicely into double squishy bot.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I think you're right about that, TDS. This is a very strong lane that does have a lot of power. One issue I have with Team One's composition is their lack of CC, right? You've got
Yeah.
Bard Stun, which does require two targets. You have Hui's Grasping Maul that pulls you in, but again, it just pulls you in. It's not like it's a hard stun. Aatrox Infernal Chains, and then of course Jax's Counter Strike. So really, you have just Bard Stun, Jax Counter Strike. That is
Yep.
not enough. When you take a look at everything else on the side of Team Two, they have plenty of options. It's just a matter of making sure that the early game is nice and even keel for themselves, TDS.
Yeah, in general, the tools that they have to try and control targets are going to be really lacking. But then, in contrast, they have a lot of damage to be able to actually like kill targets really quickly. And when you think about it, Team Two doesn't necessarily have a lot of tankiness either. It's mainly Gragas, but most of the time we see the Gragas opt into a kind of AP bruiser build more so than tankiness, so he can get bursted out quite easily if he gets out of position. The only one that will take longer is the Leona, but the rest of the members are really killable. So as long as you get a good tempered fade, you can really control the area of how you want to fight and then just get enough damage to kill them really quickly. So it's really, I kind of see this game just being who can get the first pick in a fight before the other side, and then off of that, the resets are going to win you the rest of the fight.
Yeah, you know what, TDS, that does make it for a very good point. I think that players of all walks of Elo have really started to discover how strong Bard is as a champion, right? Because even though you're not going a full damage rune. Obviously, if you're in solo queue, you might see the electrocute bard, right? But even though you're not seeing that sort of thing in high level play, a bard still does a lot of damage, gives you a lot of sustain, gives you a creative angles to take with the magical journey, and then of course has that tempered fate, right? It was an ability that everybody's like, oh, if you use this the wrong way, you'll lose the game or something like that, or you lose a fight. Well, why not just use it to pick one person off constantly? I think
Yep.
people have finally started to realize that years later is that just go ahead and target one person that you think that you can kill and then go kill them. So this champion right now is that I think that's why you see him so much. He's incredibly strong. And obviously, you really worry about making sure you have an AD carry that can stand on their own. I do worry for this Yunara's safety when they're staring down a Leona.
Yeah, in reality, it's really on how the Yunara can kind of play for herself, and this is why we typically see her more with enchanters or even the Braum, more so than other enchanters, just because of the protection value, right? The Bard gives you the playmaking opportunities to make the most out of most situations in this fight. But then it does take away from that safety. And you say the Yunara as well. I think the Wei also can be in danger because not mobile, like he doesn't even have a dash escape like the Yunara. So if he gets caught out of position, he's kind of dead. Like there's not a lot of ways for the Wei to try and survive long enough or to escape. And it's really going to be on who can find that first kill before the other. Because the damage can kind of be arguably similar. I would say Team One does have more. But then the way that you're going to control them, to kill them, it's going to really depend on how they look into each position. I also kind of want to see how the side of Team 2 do end up moving because one of the great things about the Rise is the potential of the side lane, right? And if you're able to get into the side lane really early, try and just keep the push up and the pressure up as much as possible, it's really only the Aatrox that can look into the Rise because the other members don't really want to try and collapse into him, and the lack of CC bar to bar means that he can escape pretty comfortably in most situations.
Yeah, that magical journey can certainly get you out of any sticky situations, TDS. So now let's talk comps. So I'm thinking right here that obviously Team Two, a lot of scaling coming out. Obviously, Neferi's got this good early power. I think
Yeah.
Neferi Leona is going to be the big duo you want to watch out for. Even Rise can be very supportive early on. But taking a look at Team One and what they're able to do, I got to say, I think Team One is really going to want to put an emphasis on these grubs. I think Quay has a lot of good poke, which means that in a siege situation, you'll be able to have the opportunity to tag a turret or two, but then also split push for Aatrox, even for Jax later on, if you want the opportunity to. Just because
Yep.
he's in the jungle doesn't mean he's not going to be a good enough split pusher that you can't send him over to a lane if the opportunity arises.
Yeah, you may lose your smite, but it's still a great split pusher to really try and send and get a lot of damage going on the side lanes as well. And as far as like even if they get the grubs and it's only the Aatrox, like you're pointing out, like the fact that they have so much pressure for side lane can be really good for Team One as well. Contest actually one of the points that I was even making with the Rise being on that side lane as well and trying to attack each other could be, prove to be a better opportunity for Team One. As far as the scaling though, I do think Yunara does feel a little bit like that champion that will scale so good that it's difficult to go against. But then you always have to consider if Aphelios just gets into one fight. Well, it's similar to the Oriana of the previous game, like we were talking. Like you get one fight where you combo your ulti with your like Infernum damage and everyone is clumped up, you get the win. You pretty much win the fight. Or if you have fully stacked chakrams on the Aphelios, you're running down everyone else as well. The only problem is not having that enchanter to buff you up. But if the Aphelios is not completely far behind, like he can take over fights as well. He is really strong, and I feel like people sometimes forget it just because we don't see it as frequently as the Yunara.
Yeah, and there's gonna be so much that you're gonna have to wade through to actually get to this Aphelios, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna need either a magical journey or a Jax hopping over the wall with a leap strike, or the Aatrox flank in order to actually get to this Aphelios. And then you have to get through this Gragas, who is gonna explosive cask and ruin your entire cohesiveness of your fight. If Leona's gonna peel CC for days, and that should provide enough time, and they should have enough damage rise into Fury to really get done what they need to get done if, Team One elects to crash onto this Aphelios, right?
Yeah, and technically speaking, like the point that I was making with the way not having enough mobility to escape applies for the Aphelios as well. If you get on top of the Aphelios, you burst him out, you kill him, it's not impossible to pull it off. Like the amount of CC and disengage potential that the side of Team 2 has thanks to that Gragas make it a little bit difficult. But that's where things like the Bard come in and are able to really make that work out. It does worry me the fact that when thinking about it, it's really just parts engaged that it's kind of the way that some of the fights will start for Team One. Because apart from that, it's Jack's Counter Strike or Aatrox hitting a sweet spot. Those are kind of the ways that I see the fights starting, and it's not reliable. That's not consistent ways to start a fight compared to a Leona R from half of the distance of everyone else, or the Gragas body slamming in with the ultimate. Like there's better tools from Team 2, but there's always tools from Team 1 to try and pull it off, like that Bard ultimate. And if they are able to get the Aphelios locked down in one place, he's dying.
Yeah, the issue is it's damage tools, right? And
Yeah.
team two needs to be close to each other, but also be spread, which is obviously like an oxymoron, right? You got to be close enough that if the Bard ultimate goes down and somebody gets hit by it, that you can defend that player while they're stuck in stasis. But you need to be far enough that not everybody's getting stuck in stasis.
It's a difference between dying or not dying, like pretty much. And that's kind of difficult to try and deal with in some situations, especially when you're not even playing with these members a lot. It can be difficult, but it's going to be fun seeing how they try and deal with that.
All right, bad news. We have the same issue as we did in game one. Good news. We already know how to fix it. So we're going to
Yeah.
go ahead. We're going to step away for a short break. When we return, we should be on to Summoner's Rift for the second game of this second 3 block scrim here at the Cyto Combine. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you very shortly. All right. We're in the game, just over 2 minutes. Obviously, nothing crazy has happened quite yet. We do have Tub going all the way in here for Protoss. Tub is going to take a lot of damage on the way back. But Shogo and Tub with that level 2 advantage, I mean, they're going to be able to trade back fairly effectively. Remember, Aphelios, starting with green and red guns is just so strong, man. You get to
Yep.
auto like Caitlyn, and then you get to heal up, on your auto attacks early on. That definitely moves the needle a little bit, TDS.
I would really like it if we had another like AD carry to compare the healing to, but like since everyone just has to buy items to actually heal in the bot lane, it's kind of sad in that sense. But yeah, it's a great thing about playing the Aphelios. You have multiple tools to try and just be by yourself without having to worry that much, but then you realize that you're also killable because you're an AD carry. And it's interesting that they have so much control of the bot lane already, considering that they are against a Bard. Even if top did take a huge trade, it's still really good control they are able to get. And look at that damage as well.
It's big chunks, as you can see. And looking up on the top side for a minute, Crimson doing fairly well against Calculus so far. Remember, Gragas is the great equalizer, as we like to call him.
Yep.
See if he's able to sustain through the fact that Crimson does not have a secondary resource. That is also one of the very important things to mention whenever Gragas has to deal with situations.
Wait.
Hang on, looking at the bot side,
Protoss-
big stuns, and first blood going over to Shogo.
Yeah, and this is something that I failed to mention before because I barely noticed it, but Protoss's flash was down really early on. Like he didn't even have another way to escape there. And as soon as Stop was able to engaging immediately, stunning him down and then killing him, giving the kill to Shogo. What a way to start the game off with such a good first blood for your AD carry. I I'm not sure why Shimmer flashed though. I think he wanted to try and get the kill, or probably thought that they weren't going to be able to close it out without him. But that is a flash that is unlucky to lose out on. But the rest of the bot lane play is perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just he was afraid that Protoss was going to get through the magical
Yeah.
journey, right? And you don't want to let those kills go, so it's all right in the end. Nice to see good play here out of Tub. As hang on, Protoss is trying to do what he can to stop the backs here and doing well. But one thing to note about Tub is that the entirety of 2025, he's played with Hub, who a
Yep.
couple of days ago, according to Tub himself, maybe done with competitive. So we're gonna have to see Tub on a in lane with new AD carries going into 2026. I think this is a good start for him, of course. Getting a guy like Shogo, it's interesting to see how these guys will mesh, especially because, a lot of the game's resources will go and revolve around Shogo.
Yeah, exactly. It's really sad what the news about Hub because I really liked him in his short playtime that we saw towards the NECL and NCL OQs. But Top has been a really nice surprise. I think he's been performing really, really well. Obviously, not only now in this game, but in what he has shown so far, and with some of the other teams. And hopefully, he can still find good opportunities to try and showcase himself. Especially playing with Shogo, playing with other top 80 carries. It's going to boost him up really, really nicely.
I've got a small CS lead. It's not massive, but mobility going to lose a couple of minions here. As we talked about, Shogo and mobility have done battle many a time, and Shogo's got a very small lead right now, but tends to be the one that gets the advantage in lane at times.
Yep.
We'll see if this continues, especially on an Aphelios. Whenever you're ahead, it's always a good time, notwithstanding the kill. And outside of that, the game has been rather quiet. The junglers have shown up, but haven't really made any plays. We've seen some regular trading between Asila and Toasty, but that's about it.
Yeah, as far as nothing like really big ends up happening, there shouldn't be like much notice as they know that Shimmer is here and they probably would like to try and force a play here. But one of the things that we were talking about before, oh,
I like this counter attempt. There's a Spiraling Despair onto Shimmer. He is going to take quite a chunk of damage. Good
Shimmer is
damage is
dying.
coming down onto Munchie. Munchie flashing forward and the leap strike. He's going to be able to get the assist there as they're able to find Shimmer.
Yeah, and that's the problem, not having the flash at the time. Really good pick there by Munchie. And also surprised that Shimmer ended up using the invulnerability like that really early on. It enabled Toasty to have a good opportunity
Okay.
there to take advantage. Oh, insta
Protoss
cleanse.
missed his stun as a follow-up there too, so that's going to force that cleanse out of mobility, and he takes a large chunk. Asila moving down, he does have that Realm Warp if he wants it. Seeing some pings go down onto the Dragon here, which I would have been surprised if they started it up without Shimmer.
Yeah, it feels like there's no way for them to actually do it. They have a good weapon set to try and take down the dragon if Shimmer was close by, but that kill really kind of deviated the possibility of that plan from happening as they're just going to try and collapse the wave here, maybe get the CS for show or the turret plate for Shogo.
Trying to
I
dive.
don't think they are
Lights
diving
on the
yet.
mobility. Here we go. Moonlight
Whoa.
Vigil, and they're going to be able to get it done. It's going to be a denial of a couple of minions and a 1-for-1 in the end. Shogo gets a second.
That's really good value there for Shogo. He not only does get the kill, he gets the plate plus the CS denial onto Yunara, and then also gets this next wave. So Shogo at this point of the game, really, really strong. They may not be really far ahead because of what is happening topside with Crimson having such a huge CS lead. But the fact that you have these affiliates be really strong, especially when we talked about potential scaling or win conditions for late game, is really, really good for the side of the blue team.
Yeah, it's going to take a long time for mobility to get online. Obviously, he did get a kill for himself, but going down in CS and that EXP as well, the margins are going to be there. There might be a fight where Shogo's level 8 and mobility's level 7. That's going to make the
Yep.
difference. Remember, levels worth about like 500 gold worth of stats. Protoss and Shimmer going at it, but here comes Munchie hopping in. Top going to look for the
Re-engage.
turnaround. Here comes Asila as well, but it's going to be a 4v3. Once Crimson gets here, good damage going down.
Oh,
He goes all
Munchie.
the way in and
He's
manages
dead.
to find the kill. Shimmer's going to flash away, and then he drops the ultimate, but he's stuck on the other side of the wall. Crimson able to hop over and clean that one up. It's a 1-for-1 in the end, TDS.
Yeah, 1-for-1, and it's because both junglers dying here that they are not able to actually go for the grubs even though they try to move members. But there is also a numbers advantage situation now. Aatrox is going to reset, going back to base, whilst mobility is still here. So that gives them a small margin where if Shimmer is able to rush towards topside quickly, they can try and get these grubs before Munchie's able to. But really nice kills that they are able to get on both sides. Shimmer getting one back means that he's not going to be completely behind to the Jax. And then Crimson with this kill becoming even stronger. We already see him with a CS lead. This means that now for the Gragas, for Calculus, it's going to be a little bit harder even being able to try and win a little bit of the lane.
Tub teleported up to the top side using his Summoner Spellbook, and Shimmer heading up to the top side as well means that the Grubs will be started up. And as we mentioned, Grubs would be very good for Team 1, but it will be secured by Team 2 as Rise will always be able to make solid use of them as well in the side lane.
Yeah, there's not enough opportunity here to try and contest it as both Protoss and Top are going to stare at each other. But you already can see just how the trading pattern is working out up there in the bot lane or in the top against each top laner because they are just finding so much value for the damage that Crimson is able to get at this point. And in the meanwhile, because they do get the grubs up there in the top side, they get the dragon down there in the bot side in contrast.
A solid enough objective trade, but it is only the first dragon of the game here going over to team one. You would expect that that first dragon would be taken a little bit earlier. A 10-minute dragon, obviously not the worst in the world, but it's going to take some time. And obviously, with the way that Shogo is playing so far, the fact that he's 2-0, he's fairly strong for himself, does mean that later on could be really, really worrisome when you're trying to get that fourth dragon and this Aphelios is pretty scaled up 15 minutes from now.
Yep. As long as they are able to get the items to fight at that point, probably going to be having an even better time. That being said, Mobility does get the first item around the same mark from Shogo, so the damage discrepancy is not going to be as high at this point. It's really going to matter when we see a future fight where Shogo has a second item and Mobility is just a little bit far away from his first. Oh, Mobility.
Big dive coming out, but there is the tempered fate. Mobility is going to be able to hop over to the wall. Kill is
Oh.
secured there by Shogo. He drops the Moonlight Vigil, but he dies. Doesn't look like Shimmer has the damage to be able to take out Proto, so a 1-for-1 in the end, but Shogo lost his flash.
Yeah, not enough to be able to get the kill and get out of there. Shogo trying to get the heal from the ulti, not able to throw it out at the end. It's really unlucky. But for how they managed to dive, really good coming in from the red side bot lane. Mobility playing it as best as possible, didn't even use flash. And then Protoss, really nice tempered fate, and then getting the kill as well, really, really important. And now without a flash, Shogo is a sitting duck. Like, if he gets collapsed on by Protoss and Munchie, he's probably going to die in the bot lane unless Sub is able to just keep him alive for really, really long.
Yeah, from Protoss, I'm looking out for the tempered fate to try to land that onto Shogo with multiple of my teammates around to really go and put this guy away. Next dragon is not going to be for another 3 minutes. Herald is going to be up in 3 minutes, so they're going to spawn on the same time. We could see another objective trade there. Check-ins on items. As Shimmer has completed his Profane Hydra. Asila completing his Rod of Ages. So looks like Calculus might be a little bit slower on his, if he's even going it at all.
I more than likely think he's going into the Rod of Ages here as a dive happening.
Oh,
They
big
want to no
dive.
flash, no flash.
Yeah, yep. You don't even need a tempered fate to go down here. A really clean play and a kill over to Mobility.
Wait, I actually thought it was Munchie's flash, but it's actually Protoss flash that connected there. Plus Munchie just jumping in the face of Shogo, and that's the thing. No flash for
Oh,
wait,
Protoss stunned
Protoss.
up. Oh no,
Oh,
he
just
just got out of turret range. Oh, this is a problem. Tub is stuck. He is dead. It's a third kill for Mobility. Really well played by Team 1.
What a way to turn around such a bad start coming in for the side of Team Red, because Shogo started with one kill and such a good way of the lane, but now with the last two deaths, going to pretty much go back to zero. They are going to get gold, so much gold back to Mobility with 3 kills, 2 and 1 assist now, and then also the plays going into his pocket, and the advantage that Shogo has completely evaporated and also shows a problem for the future, right? Because it means that every time that you have a fight and Shogo has no flash, you really can just ignore him, jump on top of him, kill him, and then follow up on the rest.
Asila
Toasty.
getting tagged with a Spiraling Despair. He did good damage to Toasty. Here comes Tub nearby. Asila's already gotten really, really low, trying to do what he can with these overloads as Tub is going to turn around, land the stun, but no help is coming. Tub is forced to flash away.
Yeah, good flash there by top, but it is another advantage for the side of Team Red, and also top lane Crimson trying to go for the kill here.
Right, Shogo and Mobility having a little trade-off back and forth, but guess
Oh,
what?
bye-bye, Shogo.
Munchie is a monster, and he's going to show up right behind Shogo, who has no summoners to his
Yep.
name. Shogo's got nowhere to go. Munchie gets his first up on the top side. There's the cask. Gets close but couldn't stun Crimson. Shimmer got pulled back by the Infernal Chains, but is able to hop forward and get a shutdown.
I would argue actually a little bit lucky there for Shimmer, because the chains kind of pulled him away from the auto from the Aatrox, and that way he cannot heal at all. But still, 1-for-1. But the value here by Mobility, able to get this first turret blood in his favor, once again pushing the bot lane a little bit farther ahead compared to where Shogo is right now. And it's just a situation that is going to be really difficult to fight against. Calculus still hasn't completed his first item as well, so a potential next fight for any of the objectives that are about to respawn, it's not going to be the most ideal for the side of the blue team. It feels like the item timings are going to be much, much better for red side.
Yeah, that's the thing with Gragas, is that sometimes you just pick up the catalyst just to, heal up, right? A lot of Gragas's issues is when he gets low on mana, but Obviously, how the catalyst works is you cast spells, you gain health, you take damage, you get mana. It just works so well with Gragas passive. So that's why a lot of players will just sit on it. Speaking of sitting on it, they're sitting right on top of Shogo right here. Here comes Munchie as Protos gets right on top of Shogo, looking to take him out himself, but they're going to turn around on the
That's not
top and get the
enough.
kill. Shimmer got a little bit too close, and now he takes a big chunk as Trinity Force for Munchie means big damage for Team 1.
And Shogo is still trying to run away, but once again, Flash
Oh, I
out
love
of
this.
place. Oh, Syla.
Okay, Styla getting Protos really low. Can't quite finish
He's
him
dead.
off, but Shimmer will. And now we're going to see a turnaround, but a teleport on the backside
No
coming in from
Flash.
Crimson. Shimmer's going to let his mid laner die. An ill-advised play out of pure desperation, TDS.
Yeah, a little bit of overcommitment there with the teleport, but at the end, another kill for the side of the red team, and also with the way that they get it. Yes, Syla gets a kill or Shimmer gets a kill after killing Protoss, but it's the value of the kill that you get, right? Because Syla for Protoss is not a similar trade, and then you get the Rip Herald as well in the process. But this is something that I do like from both junglers. They really don't give up any objective at all for free. Like, if you get the top lane objective, I get the bot lane objective, and vice versa. Like, it's one for both sides and trying to look for plays. It does feel like Munchie's finding the better plays at this point, but Shimmer's still not staying behind.
Yeah, he's quite strong for himself, but I am worried about what this Jax represents because, again, we talked about, if Shimmer's the one going in, Jax can just use the counter strike, right? And, Shimmer's going to have to either pull out or, commit by using his solitary ability to get out of danger. And with the kind of damage that Munchie has, it's definitely something to really worry about if you're Team 2, TDS. As we now wait for the next objective as we have Otacon in 3 minutes. Baron obviously very far away. And we're instead going to see a Rift Herald burn here, not for a secure of a dragon, but just for mid gold going on to mobility. Silent has been tagged up here with the Spiraling Despair. Munchie right on top of him looking for that extra damage. Does quite a bit in the backside of Toasty, but can't actually kill him.
That was close. I like Asila trying to, at the very least, try and get the kill there. Really unlucky stun in that position, but they are still pushing the issue so much here. They are going to get another turret and potentially a kill here on Calculus, actually.
Well,
Oh,
Tup
the
has
stun
ghosted.
again.
The rest of the team is here, but they can't get on top of Munchie. The turret's going to fall. This is more gold into the pockets of mobility. As we see a lot of pings, teleports coming down, and big flank plays coming through. As Tup has been slowed and mired in the muck, and he goes down. Shogo got tagged, and Shogo is dead. It's a double kill for Munchie, and the game has been broken wide open here, TDS.
You know what, Yanni? Forget about having flash or not. Shogo is just going to die whenever he gets stacked by Tempered Fate. It's just unlucky to stay in that position, but it's just such a good teleport angle, and it really comes off of the fact that Protoss, for as much as he doesn't hit the binds, he still is creating so much pressure. Like, he gets the vision dip, he moves into the jungle, tries and threatens a couple of members with the stun, and even if he fails, he's setting up for the team to try and follow up in a really good spot. And then the fact that they get such a good initial or start to the fight, where they can get on top of Shogo, where they can get off top of Shimmer, and on top of Calculus really easily. And now you even added the fact that Crimson, that was ahead, gets into the fight and he gets a really good angle to go for the kills. It's just working out so much better for Red Team, and they are looking for the next dragon potentially in 2 minutes.
Take a look at the gold gaps between some of these players. It's almost 1,000 in the mid lane in favor of Toasty, but it is 1,000 up top. It's 1,000 in the jungle. It's 1,700 in the bot lane. A desperate play attempted here. Calculus is going to knock them both back. This could be exactly what they need, but so much damage absorbed by Munchie. Here comes turn on Spiraling Despair, whiffs, but Munchie wants to go back in. He's looking to take out Tub, and he will be able to do so. Munchie is a monster. He's got a double kill. That's why they call him Munchie the Monster. Protoss serving them both up with another good Bard ultimate. Shimmer gonna look to try to find Toasty, but Protoss is gonna be able to stun him
and
up.
he's just fine.
And it's a double kill for Toasty. Mobility wins his 1v1, and that's an ace for Team 1.
It's just a complete ace. Nobody down on the side of the red team, and it's all Munchie, really. He's making use of his lead. He got ahead really early on, and every fight that he finds an angle to go for, he gets the perfect angle there. And I really love what he did there. Counter-strike for as long as possible to deny a lot of damage, killing the first target, and then jumping onto Asila instead of following up on the other members, going for Asila, gaining the kill, and getting out with just a sliver of health. Really, really well played. The rest is just a really good follow-up from the rest of the members, getting on top of the members that were trying to run away from the blue team and then getting the kill in such good spot. But this should probably be a free Anakin because they have complete control of the map. There's tier 2s down already on the side of the blue team, and there's not a lot of gold in their favor either. Shogo is trying to get the second item when Mobility is about to complete third item.
And there's so many players on the top side of the map right now, TDS. I am kind of surprised they don't just go for it here, but you know, we see a lot of pings on it now. This might allow some time for Team 2 to be able to get down there if that's what they want. Right now, they've got their sight set on this turret and the
Bounty's
gold
good.
that it's going to be able to provide. Maybe they'll go after Crimson too. He'll dash over the wall, and it looks like that mid tier 1 turret is good. They're going to go throw everything they have at Crimson, but are unable to actually get him. Doesn't seem like they're committing for this turret as well. Meanwhile, Protoss is coming on the backside here as Otacon has been secured. Protoss is just eating everything Shogo has to offer,
not a-
and now he's going to find two
no
with a temper
flash.
fate. An opportunity for a stun as well. Shogo up too far, and he's dead. Tub is dead too. Throw a toaster at him. And now Calculus has to flash away. Things going from bad to worse here for Team 2.
They don't have a toaster, they have a toast, but it's still working out really nicely to be able to get the kills at the end there. And that was probably Protoss's easiest Bard ultimate, I think, of all night, because it was just walking forward onto Shogo and hitting him into his face. It's unlucky the fact that they are not able to actually play out of the situation, try and get more gold. They got a bounty, but it's doesn't feel like it's just yet enough to try and turn around the game. And Shogo is still not able to complete the second item, is really lucky ass. Crimson maybe collapse on here and dying.
I don't know. I think Crimson
Oh,
wins
the
the 2v1.
healing though.
We are starting to see a lot of CC go down, and now Tub is coming through. So this is where it becomes a problem. Great
4v1.
explosive cask, and they're going to be able to send the house to take out Crimson. Shimmer cashes in.
A good kill. You take anything that you can take at this point. The dragon is completely meaningless because it's only the third dragon of the game, so I like the fact that they committed for the play. And if they can get another bounty, it's getting closer to the objective of trying to find some gold for Shogo and the rest of the members and trying to fight with them as they're trying to run away. They're not going to get collapsed on, and this actually gives them an angle to go for dragon because everyone was topside.
Well, if you go for this dragon and you lose out on the fight, that's bad news, TDS. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's going to be the angle here, but they're dragging everybody down toward Shimmer, toward Calculus. Our Counter-Strike is going to be down, so here's your opportunity to try to get on the Munchie. They can't, though, as they're able to hop away. Yeah, Team 2 doing a great job of this dragon control. Teleport coming in. It's from Toasty. Crimson has his teleport as well. Gonna
Also
probably
coming
wait for
in.
a big flank angle. Tub getting chunked out a little bit more, but there's that teleport. It's kind of far away. Calculus doing
Oh,
well.
Calculus got
Trying
sucked.
to keep him away, but he is stuck going golden. He's stunned up and he melts as he goes down. Dragon will be secured here by Team 1.
And you're right about something, Yanni. It's not a catalyst going into. Oh wait, Protoss maybe that here.
Protoss trying to get
Ooh.
away. He flashes
Oh,
away from
perfect
Shimmer.
flash there.
And now the collapse might be there right over into the hands of Crimson.
He's
Shimmer
just been
goes down
hitting.
as Mobility finds his 7th. Asila living up to his
Oh,
name right
Asila.
now because
Yeah.
you know he's struggling at 0-4. It's a double kill for Mobility, 8, 2, and 7. TDS, they have a minion wave there looking to break the base.
Yeah, they can push into trying to win the game here. It's only Calculus responding in 4 seconds, and then Shogo and Top that are completely in opposite side of the map. Actually, they're not even here, so if they decide to, there's a slight opportunity here to push, but it looks like they are going to respect it, they are going to wait, and instead they are going to try and reset at this point. Shogo will get gold, which is always good, obviously, to try and get back, but with what they've lost, it's just such a big difference, and they have probably one more fight to try and turn around this game, although Shogo has to be careful. He cannot stay there for too long.
I wonder if Protoss can just 1v1 him. Now, he did just ding to 13. He throws the thumbs up at him, misses the Q, but look at these auto attacks. Shogo just doesn't have the damage. Protoss is going to go over the
Pushes
wall. He
him
does have
away.
that tempered fate for a re-engage. Shogo will sidestep it. Protoss dodging out on the Q, but here comes the cavalry as Munchie is looking to chase him down. He's got the angle. Oh, you're going to flash the mastery on him. Come on, man. You can't do that.
Yeah, at that point, he was just a dead champion in that position. Affilio is not going to be able to escape there, and they are trying to find something else. Shimmer here trying to escape in a position that is not the most favorable, but it's still probably not going to amount to much. And the fact that they were able to deny some of the minion waves means that it's not going to be a full base destroy just yet. Mobility will push here. They are going to try and get the top lane inhibitor if they can, but instead they are just going to wait for Baron buff. Spawning in 5 seconds, they can take it down really quickly. So they can just look for it immediately here.
TDS, I propose a new rule. My rule is that you are not allowed to flash mastery as a flex unless you have mastery 50 or higher on the champion. What are your thoughts?
Get behind that. I can get behind that. Although, well, for combines, I can get behind that. In actual play, I would not get behind that.
Well, I mean, yeah, because the pro players don't have like mastery to flash on their pro accounts, right? They would
That's also true.
theoretically.
They
Do
should.
they actually
but
hold on?
that's
Do
true.
they get mastery? Like, because it's the same accounts that they use, right? Like, so do they get mastery over the course of a year, like when they play? I guess they do.
I feel like that should be the case, but I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure if
This
that's
is a good
going to be
question.
a thing.
I'm gonna have to.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to ask one of our maybe one of our Sido Combine players from 2024 who ended up in tier one. Maybe they'd be a good person to ask.
yeah, they probably have a better idea of if the mastery can be flashed from over there. But here we do know that they can, and Munchie loves to do that. But I think he deserves it. Such a good game so far, 8-1-6. He really is pushing. Oh, calculus.
There we go. Okay, it was a fake out there. As now the
Oh
fighter fronts
wait.
it back, but Shogo's ultimate
Oh,
doesn't
perfect
land on
there.
anybody because of tempered fate.
That's
Big
so
stun coming
good.
out from Calculus, but it's just not enough at this
Oh,
point
and
in the game.
again.
TDS as they run over Team 2, a triple kill for mobility. You know he wants the quad, but Shimmer will be able to tuck his tail between his legs and get back in the fountain. The second Nexus turret will fall, and it's another win going over to Team 1.
Running like a scared dog, understandably so, but such a good game coming in from the side of the red team. And I gotta say, like, the fact that they recovered so effectively after the start they had, because it was an affiliate starting with pretty much 2-0 in kills. Such an early start, being so far ahead, and the way that they countered that, the way that they attacked the bot side, the way that they got control back in their favor of mobility, and then gave him even more gold. It's just such a good way of playing coming in from the red team, and gotta give huge props to Munch. I think he played so well this game, really finding the right angles and made Shimmer a non-factor.
Yep, and we said that that could be the risk of having this Nefiri into this Jax. Obviously, the Jax was picked afterward, and it ended up being a great counter coming through for Munchie. TDS, we have one more game of the Sido Combine yet to play, so we're going to go ahead and take a short break, and when we return, we'll be in the final draft of the evening. We'll see you there.
Do we fight to hold our heads up high and beat the drum to what we love?
And we are back and ready to go for the third game here in our second set in the Path2Pro Combine. I'm Isaac, stepping in for TDS as he was unable to finish all three games in the set, but alongside me is still, as ever, Yanni.
Yep, I'm here.
Yep,
We're ready to go.
He's trucking. He's
Yes,
managing
sir.
to stay alive. But yeah, I mean, getting straight away into the sets of bands immediately. Zooming through the likes of San, Alistair, Wukong, and York taken off the table.
So, my short-term memory is not what it used to be. So I'm trying to remember
Same.
which champions were picked. So hang on, let me see if they're showing up in
I
Sugar's
know-
match history.
I
And
know
if they are, I
Munchie
got you.
popped
Okay, cool.
off
They show up.
on
They show up in his
Jax.
match history. All right. All right. Write this down,
Okay.
Isaac. Are you ready?
All right.
We've got
Hold on. Let me grab a
Ka-
pen. All right.
Yep.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Kaisa's not available.
Kaisa, nice.
Mbessa.
Ambessa, that's right. Dr.
Sin.
Tactics played that game
Sin
one.
Zhao.
Sin Zhao, yeah, I got it.
Talia.
Talia, yep,
Nautilus.
that was played in game one. Not, got it.
Rumble.
Rumble, yep.
Trundle.
Trundle, that was, yep.
Oriana. And then Zyra Khan.
Oriana Zaya Rakan. My pin
that's
literally
game
just
one.
died on me.
Oh, no. You can't have that dying on you. Game two. Game two. We got Aphelios.
Okay, yeah.
Gragas.
Felios,
Nef-
Gragas,
Nefiri.
Nefiri,
Rise
it.
and Leona.
Rise Leona,
Then we got Aatrox Jax.
Aatrox Jax,
Hui.
Hui,
Yunara and Bard.
Inara, and Bard. Right.
right. There we go. There are our fearless bands. Now, let's go into the picks and the bands.
Okay,
Nico,
yeah,
the
yeah,
immediate
yeah.
lock-in coming out here for Team 1. This champion is just so incredibly powerful,
Oh,
Isaac.
yeah.
I mean, this thing is just the Pop Blossom, and if you're really good with your Tangle Barbs, it just causes so much problems. I mean, the Sivir's good into this in a sense that you get to neutralize a lot of the lane power that Nico is going to try and display, and later on, you've got that get-out-of-jail-free card with the Spell Shield.
Yeah, the amount of CC that Nico has, Sivers as one of the available ADCs is a reasonable option. But I mean, in terms of Nico, the priority of it reminds me of Bard before you could, when you were able to flash while you're charging up Shield of Duran, and you'd be able to just come in from 50 miles away and taunt everybody. It's a similar sort of it reminds me of that in that sort of vein. But Azir will be put into the hands of Toasty, and
Yeah, I really like this, mostly because, we were talking about it earlier on the cast with Korak, is that, you don't really see Azir at the tier 3, tier 2 level. Obviously, Toasty is, one of these players at the tier 2 level that everybody is really expecting to take the next step relatively soon. And, I want to know, can this guy play Azir, right? Are we going to see some really good Azir performances? I think this is a champion that all these mid laners need to play in this combine in order to really expand their skill sets a little bit more. So happy that it's coming through. And we have a Jin as well paired with the Nico for that poke. But not only that, the ability to land some roots later on. Azir and Nico going to be really good at triggering the deadly flourish. And over on the other side, Pike is going to be our
Pike,
last
yeah.
pickup in the first half of bans. Pairing that up with the Sivir, definitely not the strongest pair, but because Sivir is going to be so adept at clearing waves, it will allow a lot of time for Pike to roam around the map.
yeah, and I mean that's Pike's one of Pike's the strong suits is the fact that with his W he could just and I don't want to say go where he pleases because that's Mundo's thing, but it is very much in that sort of vein of style of champion. But I'm seeing a non-ban from Team 2.
Oh,
And then
it's
Master
time to go
Yi.
look. It's time to go look and see if we have anything
That is,
interesting here. I'm not seeing anything. Okay, so we're getting word that that's a Rengar ban. And this does actually make sense, oddly enough. Munchie plays a lot
Does
of
Munchie
Rengar
play
and a
it?
lot of
Oh.
Master Yi.
All right.
Those are some of his favorite champions that are right in his wheelhouse. I do think that it would be not something that you should really play in the combine. And meanwhile, some more reasonable jungle bans on the side of Team One of Vi
Didn't
and Jarvan.
didn't Shimmer play a Rengar game in like the final season of final match of NACL when they were already mathematically out of playoffs or something?
I believe he did. Yes.
I'm pretty sure that was. I don't know why I was going with that little tidbit of knowledge, but it's just the point of connection. Anyway, speaking of Shimmer, Sejuani will be the choice of Team 2 for their jungler. And obviously, kind of linking up in this similar situation of Pike having the ability to start out these fights with the Glacial Prison should be one to look out for. The immediate response for Team 1 is to pick up the Renekton, a very, very common blind top laner.
And we'll see what they're going to tie the room together with. It's going to be a Zed coming out here. You know,
Oh, that's
Isaac,
locked in.
I'm
Oh.
kind of surprised by this. I don't think Zed Azir is a particularly strong mid jungle duo. I do think though that one of the unique things that we might see happen in this game is Zed using his shadow and his shuriken to tag somebody for Jin to root. I don't think that's
Ooh.
like, oh, you should really be, like, oh, this is really what's gonna turn the game for Team One. But I think it is something that we're gonna see enough of that it is something to watch out for. Yone is gonna be locked in here by the side of Team Two, so you're gonna get that Yone Sejuani pairing. Pike as well is gonna be able to help trigger Sejuani's permafrost. So that's good. I do have concerns about Sejuani when you don't have double melee solo lanes. And one other question is, where is this Aurora going to go? Is this going to be an Aurora top lane that we're going to see come out for Calculus, or is it going to go into the hands of a Scylla? Is the question. I think it could go in the top lane to deal with that.
I'm thinking top as well because the ranged into melee matchup for Renekton, it feels pretty good. And if I recall correctly, I do remember seeing a lot of Yone into Azir as an answer. There's a very good chance that I'm just completely talking nonsense. I will admit it is operating on my short-term memory, or I guess more long-term memory, which is also not great. And the fact that I is also unable to remember anything but Jax that was picked from this very series. But if I had to take a guess, that is what I would expect Team 2 to do. But I mean, the elephant in the room that I haven't quite discussed too much is the Zed for Munchie coming through, and I think I kind of like it a bit because I know Zed from when he was buffed, or his clear was buffed. How was it, like a year or two ago? Definitely accelerated that the clear from Zed, and I definitely suspect that we'll be seeing Munchie being able to get into the lanes for these ganks a little bit before Shimmer can on the Sejuani.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right here, Isaac. I do think that one of the concerns that I have is, outside of the bottom lane, it's going to be a little bit difficult, right? Obviously, Renekton can slice and dice through and get his stun off. However, when you're going up against what we expect to be an Aurora top, provided that Aurora is aware that that is something that can happen, it does mean that Zed might not necessarily be able to go in with Renekton and blow up a stun target. Obviously, you're not going to get that sort of thing out of Azir, because he's not going to have any CC until he's level 6, and even then, it's just the Emperor's Divide. But the bot lane is the lane where you could see it occur. Now, the problem is, once again, the Sivir wave clear. So, because we're seeing a carry on the side of Team 2, I do wonder if we're going to see Team 1 send their AD carry top lane. The only issue I'd have with that, Isaac, is if it's already a ranged top laner Aurora, let's say, I don't know if you're going to get the kind of value that you're really looking for in a potential swap by sending your Renekton bottom with a Nico. What do you think?
I I think I still haven't learned lane swaps because I'm stupid.
Okay, no, super simple. Basically, what you like to do is send your AD carry top and send your top laner with your support in an effort to
Yeah.
set behind the opponent's carry top laner. And, like Jin, like let's say as an example right here, maybe we'll see Team 2 do it. But the problem is, like, Aurora is fine right into Renekton.
Yeah.
But so is Sivir. So it's like, they probably don't want to opt into that. And if Team One does, well, Aurora's ranged anyway, so she's not going to have too much of a problem. So we might just see straight up lanes, but the problem with that means this Nico is going to have a hard time actually moving around making plays.
Yeah, and I also, on that note, I don't think Jin would particularly get a huge advantage into the Aurora in the solo lanes. I know the sometimes a bit around you'll see the haha funny like AP Jin mid every now and then, but that's not exactly one that I would particularly expect to.
Well, it certainly
to
wouldn't
flourish.
be AP.
Well,
it
okay,
would
yeah.
definitely be AD.
But even the solo lane Jin in general into the Aurora. When I look at the matchup in my mind's eye, because I've admittedly never seen a Jin Aurora matchup in a solo lane ever in my life.
You and almost everybody else, including me. Honestly.
Yeah. So I'm on speculation alone. I would also suspect that the potential lane swap for Team One would be a neutral change at best.
Now, what if it's Yone top? Because if it's Yone top, all of a sudden, you might be cooking with gas a little bit here. And if you decide to send the Jin up there and let Renekton catch the waves, but again, you're losing some of the early power of the Renekton. But what if they're afraid that Renekton is going to go into Aurora? What if they're just going to swap the mid lanes out, right? And send your mid laner top and your top laner mid. Like, you do have options to do that.
Yeah, because Toasty.
Because before Isaac, you didn't really have to worry about this, right? After lane swaps kind of died. But then teams decided, hey, we'll send our AD carry upstairs, right? And that works out pretty well and is a strategy you see at Worlds. But like now, all bets are off. If you're willing to send your AD carry top, screw it. Why wouldn't we send our mid laner top if the situation's advantageous? People have been doing that for years.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic move that happens often enough to be one that can be in the forefront of our minds. But I think it really just depends on like who goes where. I think we might even see a potential situation where everybody rotates lanes in response to each other for the first 15 minutes of the game, just to do their best to get the favorable matchup and even recall at the same time, and then try to read what their opponent is going to do themselves by moving laners in a different way in advance. And in those situations, it gets extremely hectic, and sometimes my brain starts to spin. But we'll do our best to try to follow along and, for now, speculate to see what these two can do.
Hey, sometimes brain goes spinny, and
Yeah, hey, it's been a long day. I mean,
Yeah,
especially
it
for
has.
you.
Oh, I mean, listen, I'm used to this at this point. You know how many games I had to cast for the LPL this year? Like, so many.
Considering they played best of threes and over an LPL, and they play
I did
basically
do a
every single
couple.
day of the week.
They did it play every single day of the week.
Yep. I'm going to hazard a guess, especially I don't know what you're Eastern time zone, right?
I am, yes. I had a lot of
so
3
that would have been like
wake-ups.
4 a.m. in the morning start.
3 a.m. wake ups to the 4 a.m. call times and the 5 a.m. casts.
Yeah, so I mean, I would hazard a guess and say probably in the realm of, we're talking individual games or like series.
We're talking about series, it's
Okay,
always...
I'm going to hazard a guess and say probably in the realm of like 30-ish series. But
I don't know
anyway,
if I've casted that many.
Okay, well, anyway, I think we are going to send it to a break for the spectator delay, and
Just in case something breaks.
Yep, because as it has done this whole week in general, not just here in the Path2Pro Combine, right, spectator has been broken every now and then, so we're going to send it to a spec delay, and hopefully we'll be back without any issues, but we'll see. We'll be right
Stay
back.
tuned.
Don't go anywhere. And we are live for the final time tonight, loaded onto the Rift here, ready for the Path2Pro Combine. And, I mean, Team 1 so far has been, definitely been a bit of the stronger performer out of these two.
But you know what? Here's the thing. The Combine's not all about who wins and loses the games.
True, this is valid.
You know, the Combine is, they do a lot. They want to see how well you work with various teams, why they always mix up the teams and, have, a week long worth of games, initial games that is, to, scout these players out, give them coaching assistance on a higher level than just like, hi, I'm going to be, this really good player that's giving you coaching. These are battle tested, proven coaches that have created systems for professional teams that have worked and are tried and true. And something like this is really important, Isaac, that the community has this because, as we talked about a lot, anything below the tier 1 level of play is
Oh,
definitely.
Hold on. Protoss might have gone a little bit too far forward. The Bone
He
Skewer
takes
pulls
so much
back.
damage.
That's
He's
a lot.
dead.
Flash forwards. First blood for Shogo. And of course, right as I say, Team 2 may not have had the best of times. Okay, wait, we're not done just yet. Oh, okay.
It was the best of times.
You know
It was
what?
the worst of times.
Yeah, it is. But Team 2 start off in first blood very early on.
Yeah, I don't think you need high level coaching to tell you not to do that, Protoss.
Yeah, hey, that's sometimes the bush calls to you, and your brain cannot ignore the call of the bush, especially when you're on a champion like Nico in the ranged versus melee support matchup and how effective that could be. Obviously not ideal and ill-advised this time around. But I'm trying to remember the term. It's like French, but it's like the call of the abyss or something. But
It's the
anyway.
call of the void.
Call of the
I
void.
don't know.
Oh,
I don't know what the actual phrase is, but let me tell you something. I looked that up when I was like, man, why do I have this thought that I'm just like, I could just, jerk my steering wheel to the side or something like that. Like, just the fact that I have free will that I could do that. I wouldn't, but I could.
Anyway, that is
That's
the
what it's
experience.
called, man.
That is what it is. That's the experience that I'm guessing Protoss had. Except
I could
he
just walk right into the bike
answered the.
push.
Oh yeah, but like he answered the call. Sometimes the void calls and you have to answer or decline. And this time around,
Oh, he picked that one
Protoss
up
answered.
for sure. He picked that one up
Anyway,
for sure. Both junglers starting from top to bottom here, as we have Munchie already in a position near the spot lane for a potential counter or a engage onto Shimmer himself. He's got the level up
Actually-
advantage as well, and now we'll see the action.
yeah, Munchie will find is a level up. Doesn't quite land either of his abilities. So Shimmer's still all right in terms of health. Trying to find a gank into the bottom lane. Strangle Barbs finds the route, ensures that no further game comes through. We both kind of back off, and first Crab probably going to. Okay, as I say that, Bone Skewer lands its way down onto Protoss, who's in trouble once again, going low, going down now. Shogo picking up a kill again, and Mobility is the target. Another Bone Skewer from Tub finds the mark. Luckily, there's no flash from Shogo earlier, but they're going to go for it. Tub flashing for it, and the Ignite is enough to get Mobility and feats before 4 minutes to the side of Team 2. Feats of strength, specifically.
You know what we call that, Isaac? We call that the dubstep ignite.
Okay, we're not even we're not stopping before we get to the dubstep ignite. Struggler having quite the struggle. We'll have to snap back, and almost certainly not going to be enough from Toasty. And so Struggler is still alive. Asila, sorry, sometimes you read the names and you forget the actual names of these players. But he's still alive nonetheless. Still okay. Hit by the Strangle Barbs. Popped around Protoss. We'll be able to finish off the kill, though.
And Munchie flashed his mastery only for the mid laner to live, bro. You can't do that. Listen, I might not be a high-level coach or anything like that, but let me tell you something. You better listen hard, buddy. You can't be doing that.
Yeah, I think Card's going to be in his ear without. Hold on,
I'm
Bone
sure
Skewer.
Thinkard has been thinking long and hard about this game.
I mean, he's had a whole series to go through. I mean, I don't know if long is the word I would use, considering we're only 5 minutes in at 4 kills. It's such a short period of time. We really haven't
Yeah, that's
had
why.
a moment
Why
to
has
breathe.
my support died twice?
On Tub won't opt to go for any sort of bone skewer there, despite Shimmer being close. Hold on,
Got him.
flash forward from Dr. Calculus. Director camera decides to move away, but the gank back to the
Sorry.
bottom lane. Shimmer is here. Bone Skewer not quite finding the mark. The wave arrives in time to save the bot lane of T1. Team
Listen,
1.
sorry about that. You know, listen, you don't want me to do the actual cam, all right? I don't know enough.
No,
about
no,
it.
I million percent. I mean, you've already done so many different things tonight. Observer, caster, both play-by-play in color. Next thing you know, we're going to hear that you're a race car driver and a
Yo.
lawnmower. Before we get to that, Toasty almost getting another solo kill onto Struggler. I say another as if he did before. Not quite, but straight to the bottom lane. Bone Skewer lands its way onto Protos, who's really having a rough time here in Game 3.
Dude, Tub is killing the game right now. He's having a ridiculously good start. As I say, he misses one bone skewer, but guess what? Munchie
but
is
Munchie's
here.
arrived. Shogo is the target. Shogo is low, flashing away, but is marked for death. Shut down, getting picked up by Mobility.
Yep, a nice play there. Shimmer had backed a little too early. It meant that his AD carry was cooked. As finally we have a moment to at least settle things a little bit. It's a 500 gold lead here for the side of Team 2. Stragon is up, but it doesn't look like there's too much interest in it for right now, Isaac.
Yeah, obviously Mobility went out to start his recall, so the movement will be away from that Drake, and also the rest of Team 2 not in the remote vicinity of that objective. So we'll sit around and wait for a little bit, but speaking of objectives, the Grubs should be up in less than a minute. So we could potentially see some scuffling around that that objective, especially since I'd like to see it, since we haven't really seen too much of Crimson or Dr. Calculus so far in this one.
Yep, so far,
Our
so
cameras.
good. So we haven't seen anything too crazy outside of that. A good early lead here for Team 2. So remember, Sivir is one of these champions that does have great scaling in the kit. We'll see that great scaling come into play. We've also seen the strong early game too. As you know, Tub is looking for another angle.
He's found so many bone skewers so far. Will go just wide and now might be in a little bit of trouble. Does have the ability to E away if he needs to. Won't opt to use it, but it's been nearly perfect up until this point, but not quite finding the mark there. But they'll go have another go. Shimmer is trying to find the gank. Bone skewer finds its way onto Mobility, and the Glacial Prison will be tanked by Protoss. It won't matter as Shogo gets the kill onto Mobility.
We're trading up top here. As Calculus is a small CS lead, but not too much more.
Yeah, you'd expect that to be a bit be the case with the range advantage. But speaking of Dr. Calculus, goes between worlds, and we immediately move away as Toasty and Asila go at each other. But I mean, sometimes directed camera does this, where it's like we have a potential hype moment, and it's like, let's just not see.
It's like, all right,
that.
the moment's over. See ya. You know.
Yeah, you know, like I didn't want to see the ultimates pop as
Toasty?
well, but going straight in, Toasty with the shove gets the kill onto Struggler. Actually, it will be Munchie securing that one, but either way, it's a good gank from Munchie.
And it was perfectly timed too. Tub was coming in. He's got his ultimate now and immediately stuffed, so there's no return kill. Now, what are we going to see? Both of these objectives are up. Obviously, we haven't seen anybody really go for any of them specifically. I want to talk a little bit about these grubs because I think they're so incredibly beneficial to both sides. I really like a Team 2 grubs because you do have a Sivir, and the instant deleting wave clear means that once the siege is on, you'll be able to get some pot shots on a turret. But it looks like they're going to set their sights on this dragon here, Isaac. They're going to go pick this up just before 10 minutes, the first of the game for them.
Yeah, and so the immediate response from Munchie is to run straight to the top half of the map is pinging those grubs. We'll move straight towards it as we get the confirmation first straight going the way of Team 2. But we don't see it as much these days with the grubs only having one set now, but it'll be that Drake for grubs trade coming through.
I'm not a fan of this. I think they should have prioritized it themselves. But they might prioritize a bit of a dive down here when Shogo is able to clear out this wave.
Shimmer is here, does have access to the Glacial Prison wave coming in. The Bone Skewer finds its way onto Protoss. Taking down to about half HP. The Glacial Prison finds its way onto Protoss. Pop Blossom comes through, but it's not nearly enough to keep him alive, and now Mobility is the next target. Bone Skewer goes just wide. They're waiting to find the dash in onto Mobility, but so much damage has come through, and that will be Mobility getting one kill, maybe another, as Tub missed to execute a double for Mobility, a triple, potentially fourth shot lined up. Can he find it? Just out of range, but the fancy footwork from Mobility keeps him alive and even gets two. And curtain call is out of range. Mobility, no! Can he find it? Oh my goodness, the trade! My goodness! Oh my gosh,
That
what
was
a
crazy,
messy
Isaac.
fight between Tub and Mobility. But I don't know if that's fun to it's an absolute wild moment in the bot lane, but we do not get a moment to rest. Sword and Crimson not going in onto Dr. Calculus, who goes between worlds, as you mentioned. So slippery is this Aurora, so no blood is spilled. But my goodness, wait, Crimson doesn't look like he's done just yet. Does have access to the slash and dash, goes forward, stun, drops. That's a solo kill for Crimson.
That is so good coming out of Team 1 here. You get Mobility 3 kills on this dive. Then you go up top, and Crimson in the melee into ranged mashup goes and picks it up for himself.
They're going to go
This is great.
again. The stun lands. I'm going to the Bone Skewer. Tub down very low. Oh my goodness. That's
Surely he doesn't get another kill out of this.
right. I mean, well, Protoss is here. Shogo flashing away, and now is marked for death, but won't take too much early on. It's a very early ult from Munchie, so not much else will be claimed by Team 1. But still, Mobilities.
Have you ever seen plated steel caps get this much value in a game before?
Out
of an 80 carry specifically?
Probably in one of my solo queue games at some point in time. But I do agree. The plated steel caps from Mobilities, my goodness, the wrong set of boots that don't even exist anymore. From Mobility. Yeah, no, dude, remember Mobies? Anyway. Yeah, because I said Mobilities, like the.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were maybe mentioning like old steel caps that used to be Ninja Tabby. Those were.
Either way.
Toasty Alex would be in trouble. Actually, I think he's fine.
Yeah, Shimmer's just going to hold on to that Glacial Prison.
I mean, Asila just like took so much damage. Yeah. He's down 2 levels, by the way.
I mean, so much has gone on that has managed to avoid my to dodge my attention, but I guess it makes sense because if you hold on, Asila trying to go in, but a bit ill-advised, snap back. Luckily on the Yone, you do have that extra level of safety, and now Shimmer trying to wind the way in on to Toasty, not Toasty, to Munchie. Well, I mean, you munch on Toast, but the Glacial Prison goes wide, and not quite finding the mark.
Yeah, you munch on Toast. Let's see, what else can we do?
Taking down to half HP. Dr. Calculus trying to find the kill. Goes between worlds with 1E. Should be able to pick it up. The barrier comes down, but the rest of Team 2 have arrived. Won't even matter. Shut down for Dr. Calculus.
Yeah, plated steel caps is going to help you against that.
We're not just done just yet. Protoss is hit back by the Bone Skewer, but Munchie will get the kill first. Now trying to find their way onto Tub. Manages to keep him close, and that's a double kill for Munchie.
Yeah, the Bluetooth auto too. Tub had flashed over the wall and still got autoed. And meanwhile, while this is going on, Crimson's going to get a turret on the bottom side. Overwhelmingly positive here for Team 1 as they take about a 2,000 gold lead right now. And, they're going to have to wait till the mega late game to be really relevant in this one. Specifically, Asila living up to his namesake right now. He's down about 30 CS. The range in the melee, yeah, it is very tough. But he's died 3 times. It's really something that you can't do if you want the game to stay close in the early goings at the very least. And now opportunity for Team 1 to continue to push the pace and put it very far out of reach with this Dragon up.
Yep, and that is exactly where Team 1 are heading to. But it doesn't look like Team 2 are going to give this one up without a fight. They've also sent a good chunk of their team towards this bottom half of the map, and actually Team 2 are looking like the ones to be able to start it up. Are they?
Yeah, they
I mean,
just
they're kind of
don't-
hovering around it.
Yeah, you know, they poke at it, but they just don't really have the damage right now. Asyla's over on the top side. You know, you need Shogo clearing waves, and you know, if you're just Sejuani, you're not going to be able to do it yourself, unlike a Zed.
Yeah, so is probably the wiser choice. But Protoss, I was baited by the Nico clone. It's actually Protoss there, and it's going to be Asyla with the I mean Struggler as the username or display name right now is pretty apt considering that moment. That's a completely back away
Toasty?
from the wave, but Toasty going to shove Dr. Calculus under the tower, but there's a lot of mobility on the Aurora, so Dr. Calculus is relatively fine. Just waiting for reinforcements to arrive. Gets a little poke, but the Glacial Prison drops. Down goes between worlds. I believe Dr. Calculus got the kill onto Toasty.
Yep, very good. His second of the game right now makes him very relevant, and you know you're going to need him and Shogo and even Tubbs' power to kind of cover for the fact that Asyla has struggled.
Oh, but now Munchie going down onto Shogo, marked for death as the curtain call comes up. Only going to find a third shot before Shogo gets out of range, so no kill onto the Team 2 ADC.
That was really well played by Shogo. I mean, with a Zed on top of you, the presence of mind to be able to sidestep the deadly flourish, it's so difficult to do. And because of that and burning the barrier, he's able to make it out with his life. That was a really impressive movement. I mean, this is a guy who's so mechanically talented. I don't think anybody's doubted that really. And, you know, I do think that this combine could be really good for a guy like him because, you know, we see so many times that the teams that he's on are very much centered around him, and it feels like they have to play this sort of style where it's like, oh, Shogo or bust. And you know, I really hope that he, you know, finds a different sort of gear in his game or a way that when teams go and pick him up, they're not just like, hey, it's the Shogo show, because I do think it could be doing more harm than good at times.
Oh, but the Bone Skewers have been very on point from Tubbs so far. Not quite finding mobility that time around. It would have been very dangerous had it landed, but no dice for the Pike this time around. But the rest of Team 1 have arrived trying to find a fight. The Deadly Flourish lands its way onto Shimmer. Pop Blossom as well. Bone Skewer not quite finding anyone from Tub once again. Glacial Prison will slow down the advance from Team 1, but now the option is to move on to Dr. Calculus from Munchie, snared up by the Deadly Flourish, and Toasty Alex just needs one auto attack to secure that kill.
You know, I'm really surprised that Calculus didn't just drop his ultimate down and try to burst out Munchie, or even try to maybe find a way to get away from the Zed. I mean, Shimmer did a really good job to just stuff him with that Glacial Prison, but Dr. Calculus opened the door for them to get a kill back.
Yeah, and once again, Team 1 find a pretty decent pick. Deadly Flourish not quite finding its way onto Shogo. I don't think he was marked up for damage anyway, but as we take a step back, so we finally had a moment to breathe with 20 kills, 19 minutes in. Team 1 sitting up about 2.5k gold. Haven't quite blown open that gold lead. It's about the same as we were talking about 5 minutes ago. So haven't quite been able to accelerate things maybe as much as they would have liked.
Yeah, but the good news is they do have the Rift Herald in the back pocket, so you can use this to just take out the mid turret if you want. 2 minutes time is when we're going to see the dragon. So if the Herald still has, you know, enough time before it expires, you can always use it to try to secure that dragon and take Team 2 off of a potential soul point. Remember, it is a cloud soul, so you got to start taking a look at the type of value you get out of it. I mean, you know, Shogo going to get incredible value. So is Tub. Dr. Calculus, even Asyla is going to see a lot of value off of it.
Oh, Glacial Prison finds its way onto Mobility, who has to flash away from a Bone Skewer to keep himself alive, but I do believe that'll get... Oh, wait, no. Mobility's going to try to find even more, stepping a little bit too far forward. That'll be a kill for Asyla. But with the amount of dodging that Mobility did, that'll be a return kill, and we're not done just yet. Protoss may have stepped a little bit too far, taken low, but not quite down just yet. Just trying to delay for the rest of Team 1 to arrive. but no dice just yet.
Dude, he dodged twofold hex. He dodged fate sealed. He dodged the undertow. Like what? Like he did so much there to be able to make that a 1-for-1 in the end. Mobility is playing so incredibly well, even though the scoreline doesn't necessarily reflect that. 6-5-1 is like a, oh, you're dying too much as an 80 carry, but he's, all of these times that he's died, they've really brought the house, and he's done a great job of being able to at least get one back, and in some cases more. Really impressive what he's done so far in this game, Isaac. Now, we do have Otacon on the bottom side, as that Rift Herald did get used up, so we're not going to see any value out of that essentially.
Shogo
And
not going to
drag it
have
up in
the
15 seconds.
up in 15 seconds. Shogo just barely surviving that attempted move onto him, but the stun drops down onto Tub. It's gotten far enough away, but with this Drake spawning now, you can see a potential fight. Dash forward onto Crimson, takes him not all that low, is still feeling okay, but a bit of damage getting traded back and forth, but no big commit just yet from either of these two teams. Just kind of being a little bit touchy-feely. Bone Skewer finds its way onto Munchie, but once again, no real angle for Team 2 to really move in on that one. So now Munchie will go for it onto Asila again.
Nothing there.
Nothing there.
Nothing there at all.
We're waiting
have
for
to
this
wait.
really.
Yeah, Celestial Opposition is back
Yeah,
available
okay.
on Tub, so he will be able to absorb some damage. Shimmer is taken a little low, but now that this opposition is up, it's time for Tub to move in and try to make something happen. The problem is there's no way for Team 2 to actually get this advantage. They have to go and clear out the mid wave using Shogo first and force Team 1 to deal with this wave, and that's how you're going to be able to move in and try to get something. Root goes
Asila
down.
is going to be marked by the Deadly Flourish, and the Glacial Prison will go wide, but Crimson's taken very low, and the health bars on Team 2 aren't that bad. Only down about half HP. Dr. Calcus taking a big chunk out of Munchie. But
War of
once again,
attrition.
yeah, despite all these abilities being thrown around, despite the potential fights coming through, no one really committing to anything just yet. Hold on, Deadly Flourish finds his way onto Dr. Calculus, but he, once again, is quite far away, so nothing else will come through. It's one of those moments where it's like, it's very, very hairy sort of situation. That will be Protoss.
Munchie's half
going to
HP,
have to
by
run
the way.
away.
This is something really to worry about. And here comes Nico.
Hold on, that's a Pop Blossom on the 4, and that's the moment that Team 1 needed to find the fight. We've been waiting around for this moment, and it's a huge one. 3-0, and the Drake going the way of Team 1.
Really beautifully played there by Protoss. I mean, he just lied in wait, and Team 2 just looked him off, right? They were not concerned about him coming off the edge. He hits that massive Pop Blossom. It's an instant fight winner, instant objective take. It breaks the dragon stacking. Now you got the Otacon on top of it. Now you've opened up a 5,500 gold lead. Now you're going to be up massive in the level department. I mean, Toasty Alex is level 14 right now. Asila's level 12. This is really going to get out of hand quickly here, Isaac. That is the point in the game where Team 1 put themselves firmly ahead.
Yeah, that is definitely one of the inflection points that each game has, and it's certainly feeling like that will probably be the one that, if it goes the way of Team 1, that we will highlight later down the line, because, I mean, I was saying that perhaps Team 1 hadn't quite opened up their gold advantage that they had early on as fast as they have wanted, but, of course, right then and there, they go from 0 to 100 in the span of seconds, or more correctly, 2.5 to around 5K. And Team 2 pushed back the very least. Dr. Calculus splitting in the bottom lane will get some gold back with the objective bounties. So it's a small consolation prize. It could be worse. Or sorry to say that, Shimmer? No.
Yeah, no, he's fine. What, you think that Zed's gonna kill him?
No.
way in
I
hell,
mean,
man.
you know,
Look
maybe
at-
there's
you see how
a
thick this
deadly
man is?
flourish from downtown, and
Bro,
then
if he gets hit by the deadly flourish from downtown, he's still not gonna die. This man is far too thick. Daddy Thickums on Summoner's Rift right now. But back to a more serious point. It's unfortunately, the solo lanes, you didn't get what you needed out of the solo lanes here if you're the side of Team 2. I mean, I think Shogo and Tub held up their end of the bargain for sure, but, Calculus had that small lead, but then got solo killed. And Asila really just, from the jump, kind of just rolled his ankle at the gate and was having a rough game and really didn't get any assistance against Toast.
Oh, speaking of deadly flourishes, oh my goodness, Asila's immediately deleted the response. Glacial Prism will find its way onto mobility, but there's just not enough damage for Team 2. And that will be a really good pick onto Asila.
Yep, and that Baron is up, and they're staring at it. They're drooling a little bit, a little hungry, as Toasty does have teleport, as the Baron has been started up. They just got to keep
and
Shimmer
it's
out.
He is very tanky at this point in time, though, and the health bars of Team 1 are down to about half HP, so it's not completely over for the side of Team 2. They could potentially find a way in without getting caught out themselves. This could be a moment. Toasty will go forward to the side. The shove will move one back, but Crimson gets a kill. 2 go down. It was a moment that Team 2 tried to find a way in to steal away the Baron, but Team 1, with their advantage, really just, they find a good fight.
Yeah, that's what happens when you do the Baron dance. Sometimes you get baited in to the fight. Team 2 thought, hey, conditions are good. These guys were taken low because of the Baron, but unfortunately they just have far too much damage. You really need the perfect fight in order to be able to grab a couple of kills after they've already pulled off the Baron, Isaac. And now the gold lead has gotten back to, 4,500 right now. It's certainly in a good spot still for Team 1, and they're going to head right back to the scene of the crime and start setting up again and actually just start this one up.
Yeah, and Shimmer's still responding. He'll maybe just arrive in time to hop over and smite things away if he's lucky, but it's a very slow take. Not everyone from Team 1 have arrived just yet. Tab is here.
He's here.
Snared up by the deadly flourish. Not enough being able to follow up on
Munchie's
that
just solo
Crimson.
taking this.
Coming through. And Munchie's down very low. That will be the curtain call. Opened up. Munchie's taken very low. We'll have to back out of this one. No kills away either way, but importantly, Munchie will have to, more than likely, find a recall, which might give a potential window for Team 2.
Yeah, this was really disconnected. I mean, Crimson went over the wall, I think, to try to stop Shimmer, but didn't really think about the fact that the second tankiest member on the team is Munchie, and he's not tanky. He is going to be shredded by that Baron. You don't do it particularly fast unless Toasty is on it with multiple Sand Soldiers, because while mobility will have damage, obviously he's gated by his attack speed, so a really rough take is they're going to go all in here.
Blossom will come through, trying to figure out Dr. Calculus. Whoa! Fourth shot from mobility takes out Dr. Calculus from about 1/3 HP. And so no top laner for Team 2. Shimmer will be snared up by mobility's deadly flourish. Now Shimmer very low. Can they claim the Sejuani? Can they get the smite off the map? Not quite. That will be the fate sealed, but not quite the kill onto Toasty just yet. Finally, Toasty will go down, but he buys a lot of time for Munchie to come through and find an answer to trade back some kills. It's a 3-for-1 to the side of Team 1.
And back to the scene of the crime. Once again, Isaac, we do have Shimmer leaving the base. He does have his smite available. He's going to get to that ring of Cloud Dragon, and we have a teleport
Dr.
coming
Calculus
in.
is back up.
Yep,
Now the
Calculus
teleport will drop Crimson.
Once again,
And
they
over
stop the Baron.
Well, yeah. And
Now
the
here's
health
the
bars
problem.
are just...
Look at the bot lane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yep. This is why you check your mini-map, kids.
Hang
something
on.
that...
We're gonna pan over to it in real time. I'm taking control.
Oh. Yeah.
All right, it looks like Asila is gonna.
Okay,
is gonna
Asila,
answer
please.
This. It shouldn't be,
Okay. All right.
It shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah. Oh,
Never mind.
No,
He'll
I
hand it
mean,
off
it's
to
actually,
Shogo.
it's
Somebody-
Shogo.
somebody took care of
That's
it.
probably the right choice. That's probably the right
Somebody
choice.
took care of it. It doesn't matter. Everything's all right.
And next point in time, in all that fighting around the Baron, turns out the objective we were looking at to get a potential next one to be taken is the next Cloud Drake.
Yep.
That one was not. I did not have that one written down in my
on the
script.
bingo card. Yep, that wasn't on the bingo
that
card.
was.
But but we got it. Listen, you know what? We got it, and that's all well and good. Hold on, Asila's in trouble.
Oh, Asila in trouble is marked for death. Does have the shield bow coming through. Just won't matter though. He's so far behind, so squishy, can't do anything. Yet another kill goes the way of Munchie. 7-0-6 on this Zed.
Yeah, and what this means is that Team 1 can move up to the Baron and leave one person on the bottom side with teleport.
Oh, Glacial
That's
Prison
Toasty.
won't quite find mobility, but the target is Munchie and mobility. Mobility shut down going the way of the Sejuani, but the Pop Blossom finds its way onto 3. Not quite enough as he's immediately killed. But now Crimson is in the middle of everything, trying to find Shimmer, who will almost certainly go down. Double kill for Crimson.
And it's just another nice Pop Blossom. I mean, the pressure that Protoss is just putting down in this game with that ability is just so great. I mean, they found mobility. This is supposed to be a favorable fight.
Oh, but the Bone Skewer sends the
Oh,
jungler
what a
over
dodge!
the whoa! Munchie! Being able to dodge out the execute from Tub. That was, what was that? Oh
And you
my
know what
goodness.
would have even been better if we imagine if he had gotten the kill on the way
If he got
out.
the kill. If he got the
that
kill, I
would've been-
think
that
I
would've
would
been
have
a
been able to
highlight
die
reel.
a happy man.
Hey, you know what? I know that Tub would have died a very sad man, that's for sure. But now we have respawns. Now everybody's got Baron. We're going to invest Toasty Teleport to get to the top side. So they really want to start this push very, very quickly. They're not really in the mood to allow Asila to scale, to allow Shogo to scale, to allow Calculus to get a little bit stronger. They really want to put the pressure on right now. I'm very curious because nobody is in the bot lane, so it looks like we're just going to see a 4-1 setup here. But the bot lane is the exposed area already. I am surprised that Team 1 isn't really working down there first.
I think maybe the idea, if I'm trying to get into the minds of Team 1, is that they already have the push automatically with the super minions coming through to help with this push. Either way, they are at the tier 3 top lane tower now, trying to crack open Team 2's base even further. Siege has begun, but Shimmer will try to break it. Glacial Prison not quite finding the mark, and that's a big shutdown that's not going to be available for Team 2.
Yeah, Toasty did a great job of sliding out of that one, just perfectly timed, but Munchie's got a
but
flash.
Munchie could be in a lot of trouble here, taking down to half HP, but there's not quite enough to follow up. And a Dalkirax goes between worlds, but Toasty immediately deletes the Aurora, and so now it's full retreat for Team 2. Asila going to have to flash away to get out of range of the curtain call, and Team 1 once again continue to push into the base of Team 2.
Yeah, this is going to be the big breaker. Man advantage for 35 seconds, even though you've got a couple of low health bars. I mean, Asila is just not strong enough right now. You're really going to need Shogo and Shimmer to do a lot of heavy lifting here.
Has arrived. There's the moment for Team 2. They're going to need it now. Their base has been broken open, but the Bone Skewer finds way onto Protoss. Not quite going to be at the Q3 from Asila, so Protoss stays alive for now. All the while, mid lane tier 3 goes down. Mid lane inhibitor soon to be taken next. And that will be double super minions in every single lane. Moving into the base of Team 2. Tub taking a third shot. We'll be able to hop away and be all right. But these health bars are still pretty low on Team 1. They're fine for now. Whoa, okay, hold on. Munchie will be able to get back. Dodges out the Glacial Prison. This guy, I mean, the shadows are in his favor. I mean, everything that that Team 2 tries to find, it doesn't hit the mark. And Munchie gets out alive.
This guy, it feels like this guy is able to have like more than 2 or 3 clones, man. I mean, he is just everywhere. He's sliding into the back. He's under your bed. He's in your closet. He's in the back seat of your car. And he is wreaking havoc. He's 8-0-8. We had questions on how he was going to fit into the composition. And as it turns out, the answer is take advantage of the havoc that everybody else creates. Now, Isaac, the entire base has gone scorched earth. And it looks like Team 1 wants to end the game.
Oh, Asila's going to have to use the ult to get away. Okay, what? The damage from mobility. Tub had half HP.
It was the death
Oh,
mark too.
okay, yeah. It's an ability that's sometimes a little bit hard to see,
It's
so it's not
perfectly timed.
only. But either way, there's one last moment for Team 2 to try to fight things out, to keep things alive a little bit longer. They will get a kill, the first kill onto Munchie, but there's just not enough gas in the tank. Shogo's the only one left alive. Nothing he could do on Sivir. And that will be a clean 3-game sweep going the way of Team 1.
A triple kill for Toasty Alex at the end of the game. Protos getting one more Pop Blossom to add insult to injury, Isaac, and to take out Shogo. And a really impressive performance coming through from Munchie, a really impressive performance coming through from Mobility. Protos as well had a really excellent game. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys really showed up.
Yeah, I mean, a few of those tower dives that Mobility managed to live through in the early game. I mean, I feel like I got tendinitis just from watching this guy play in a few of those moments. Yeah, no, very impressive from the side of Team 1. And honestly, there's not really much else to add with how comprehensive it was.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think that you know, it is what it is, and you know, this team that came together, Crimson, Munchie, Toasty, Mobility, and Protos. I mean, this is a solid squad. Obviously, everybody here is a pretty solid squad of players, but them specifically, they seem to really play quite well together in harmony, and you know, really showed their stuff. And you know, for the other side, you know, sometimes the team composition just doesn't work out in terms of players, right? You know, sometimes you just, you know, it's not quite there. You know, something's not quite right. Again, that doesn't mean it's a bad thing or anything like that for any of these players, Isaac. You know, it's just that, you know, sometimes things just don't jive. Sometimes players just don't play well. But the good news is that's why the Saito Combine lasts so long, right?
Yeah, we still have a lot of League of Legends ahead of us going into the rest of this Combine. It's only day 2, so hopefully there's a little bit more to see from everybody. But all the members of Team 2 will definitely have more than enough chances to show off their brighter sides coming through. But I do believe that will be enough from us tonight. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for Saito and Blue Water for being able to host this event. I've been Isaac. Alongside me has been Yanni. I also thank all the other casters who were previously on broadcast tonight between TDS and Korak. And Loki working things behind the scenes, managing the best she can to handle the right spaghetti code observer. Sorry, words failed me for a moment there. But either way, she managed it the best we possibly could have expected. And so that will be it from us tonight. Have a good night. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.